Welcome to DAX Machina, with your hosts, Naoma Finn, Steve Wildman Munrotis, and D.A. Roberts. Join us as we explore writing, books, authors, and all things horror. We will delve into the sightings, reports, encounters, and tales of monsters. We will also explore the writings of D.A. Roberts along with others in the horror genre. We will investigate the possibilities that monsters may not be safely locked away in the pages of books. They might just walk among us even now. Grab some popcorn and lock the doors. It's going to be a creepy journey. Welcome to DAX Machina.
Good evening, folks, and welcome to another edition of DAX Machina. I got to say a quick shout out to everybody in the chat room. Looks like Derek Buckles, Ivy Ray, Sal Passos. Hey, Sal, buddy. Kyle Reel. Hey, Kyle. Derek Buckles again. Montauk 40 in Research. Robert Ramirez, Troy, Mark Napier, John Abraham. Guys, welcome to the show. We are going to have a great time tonight. Joining me tonight is Josh Jones from All Tower. Josh, brother, welcome. Anthony, as everybody knows, and my brother from another mother, a significantly smaller one, Carrie Pocket Doc Davis. Doc, how the hell are you?
Wyatt, I am rolling.
How are things down in wonderful Florida land? I see you haven't been picked up and carried off by a mama swamp ape.
Not yet. Not yet. It's nice down here, man. Real nice. I'm just a little bit tired.
A little bit tired? Well, at least you don't have to stagger far to get to your bed. I can see it over there in the background.
And it's made up.
Nice.
Yeah. Angie taught me well.
Josh, it's been a hot minute since you've been with us. How you been, brother?
Oh man, I've been busy. I've been doing a lot of projects, trying to get the Kickstarter ready for the video game. I've been working my tail off, and we're still within that opening few seconds. So,
well, technically, I think the introduction ate that up.
That's true. And then I needed like a week or two. You know, DA, you know how much we behind the scenes we go. I took like a week off and kind of week and a half and just kind of disappeared for a while, and it was good. So, but I'm mentally back and ready to kick some more butt.
Outstanding. Well, boys, you guys, everybody ready for this little shindig here tonight?
Yeah.
Anthony, before we take off, I wanted to ask, let everybody know, how's your uncle doing?
Here and there, he's not doing too good. So, like we talked about earlier. So,
but for everybody that may not know, Anthony's uncle is John that we had on the show. John Allen had on the show a few weeks ago, talking about his experiences when he was a Vietnam veteran and some of his sightings he'd seen down in the Florida swamps. He's in the hospital, and you guys will, whoever it is you choose to lift a prayer to, say we include one for John. He can use it.
Amen. We'll do that.
Very ornery person he is. That's how he is when he has to go. I love him to death. Like I said, there's three great men in my life. My dad, him, and my ex-boss, and he's the closest thing I got to dad, so,
well, according to Anthony, he's got half the hospital reading my books.
Yeah.
Excellent. We'll send some good vibes up for him, Anthony.
Definitely.
Yeah, man.
Send some good smoke.
I appreciate it. I'm sure he will, too. He's probably watching. Maybe. I try to get him to watch it on his phone, but,
Well, if he's watching, John, hope you get the film, brother.
Yeah.
Hey, Fred in Alaska's here. Hi, Lene. Corey Cole's here with us. Jimmy Barr. Hi, Meg. Werewolf 5674 is in the house. What's up, buddy? Eli Harrison.
Seen a lot more moons in the chat, too. I like seeing that.
Heck yeah. That's always nice.
Yep.
Josh, you want to remind everybody what those are for?
Yeah, so whenever you are on DA's YouTube channel, you can see it now. Next to the subscribe button, there's a button that says join. You can hop in, join the family, put towards the betterment of the channel, and you get some cool emojis, and you get that nice little moon next to your name. and there have been some exclusive videos for some of the members dropping
Going
out.
to be
so,
shooting another one tomorrow.
Yep. So,
And you know, if you join the family with me, it's just extended cousins. But with Anthony, it's the family.
Yeah, that's it. It is. You got to do this. You got to go like this.
yeah,
There we go. Me Cosa Nostra is Sim Cosa Nostra.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it works. As they say, a friend of ours. You know, that's,
Yeah, friend of ours. Is that a friend of mine or a friend of ours?
Yeah.
Well, then I'm definitely going to have to pick your brain where the best Italian restaurants are, because the ones around here are best.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Marshall. Marshall's in the house. Hey, John Abraham says he enjoys the videos. I am going to be shooting another one tomorrow, coincidentally, in the area where tonight's show is about. So I'm going to be going down into Douglas County, Missouri, which we refer to as Booger County around here, for more than one reason. It's just kind of, it's its own world. Yeah, when I say my folks and my family are hillbillies, Douglas County makes my family look fairly normal. It is backwoods hillbilly place. So if I hear banjo music, I ain't slowing down. Hey, William Nighthawk's in the house. Hey, Tony.
Nightbot needs to calm down.
Nightbot was freaking out last week.
Oh, yeah.
Man,
It was
He was getting
crazy.
on to people for nothing.
Yeah.
Now, is it the spamming? Because the reason I turned that on was because the porn spammers that come in every once in a while,
Right.
they go back to back, so it catches them. But unfortunately, we have very exuberant fans that also like to jump into chat. So I'll probably just
And
have
there's
to
nothing
shut
wrong
that
with that.
off.
Just Nightbot's just
No.
a pain in the ass.
Nightbot,
Derek
yeah.
Buckles already had a question for us. He says, how many states do the Ozarks cover? Well, the Ozarks Plateau basically covers from just south of St. Louis through all of Missouri. It touches through all of southern Missouri. It touches the edge of Kentucky and Tennessee, goes down through Arkansas, all the way down to the eastern edge of the northeastern part of Texas and the southeastern part of Oklahoma. The Ozarks covers a huge area. That plateau is massive. It's at one time the Ozark Mountains were actually taller than the Rocky Mountains. They're just the oldest mountain range on the planet. So it covers quite a bit of an area. Meg says, Josh, you need to turn it off. You didn't work the last podcast.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, she was
Nightbot
having
needs
fits
to
with
take-
Nightbot.
Needs to take a damn Xanax or something. Good lord.
Yeah, who did it go after last week? It went after somebody last
Werewolf.
week, heavy.
Yeah,
That's who it
Went
was.
after poor old
Yeah.
werewolf.
Went after him heavy.
Josh
Nobody
got to
puts
take
werewolf in the
Nightbot
corner.
out behind his shed and give it a lesson.
Give it the old yeller.
That thing was
Tanya Mill
crazy.
says
last
she's
week.
actually really proud of my hillbilly roots. As am I. I'm 100% Ozarks hillbilly on both sides of the family. Well, we are going to be talking about a creature called the Minashunka. They call it the vampire beast of the Ozarks. It's been cited throughout the Ozarks. They claim it lives in caves. It's been cited for the last 150 years, and it acts a lot like a chupacabra. It drains all the blood out of animals, and there are actually a few kind of, well, we don't know if they're true or not because they're kind of from here to here to here, as tails grow taller down the line, of them actually taking out of a couple people. Some of the accounts describe them very much like a vampire bat, but without wings. They get to about the size of a medium-sized dog, and supposedly they live in caves throughout the Ozarks. And it's really kind of a creepy myth. I don't know if it's true or not. I haven't never seen one. I have talked to a couple people that claim they have. There's a story floating around Reddit about people seeing one. So it's still once in a while being seen, and they still to this day specifically in Booger County, Douglas County, Missouri, they still occasionally find livestock drained of blood.
I was doing the research. Well, I was looking at the stuff online the other night and going through when me and you were talking, and I was looking at some of the documentaries. And numerous people say this thing looks like a pit bull on steroids with pointed ears and vampire teeth. I mean, the thing is ripped and it's low to the ground. And I mean, the ears are really pointed. It looks crazy. I mean, like 7 people said the same thing, and they were in different states. He goes, this thing looks like a pit bull, but it was just the way the mouth was with the teeth and the.
Yeah.
Can you see that thing coming at you?
It sounds more like a kind of corn-fed hillbilly version of the chupacabra.
Yeah, only they've been seeing it longer.
Yeah. Well, that lady, that lady shot one in Texas, right?
Yeah,
That-
yeah, it's
the
a
vet.
chupacabra in overalls.
The vet shot that veterinarian shot one. That lady on the
Yeah.
ranch shot one. They can't. The DNA, they don't even know what it is.
Yeah,
When they did-
it comes back with really weird combinations of
Yeah.
DNA. But I think that's a totally different animal because they're not even they're not even described in the same.
No.
Mark Napier says there are vampire beasts in other states too. Derek Buckles asked, any chance it could it could tie into flying reptiles? I don't think so, because all the descriptions that we've heard so far say it doesn't fly. It's the way it feeds is very much like a vampire bat. It seems to like numb the animal because they don't hear the animal freaking out. They'll just find it the next day dead, drained of its blood. So
Yeah.
without flying, I don't think it's even remotely related to the flying reptiles.
That comment got muted, and so I put it in there for.
Yeah, and they were talking about how. Yeah, they were talking about how the this Minashunka, a lot of people don't even realize that they're even have even been bitten until they wake up next morning with wounds because of the teeth are so sharp. But they're also attributing it to the type of saliva they have that's similar to a vampire bat. It's an anticoagulant in in their saliva. And ironically enough, they named the anticoagulant properties of the saliva. They named that anticoagulant Draculin.
Draculin.
So,
That's kind of cool.
Draculin. Yeah. So
Corey Cole says that creature's been spotted in Velma, Oklahoma. Oklahoma is actually ties right into the Ozarks Highlands and the Ozarks Plateau.
They got them in North Carolina too. We had the
Really?
cabin up there.
So
Yeah.
They may extend a lot farther. John Abraham says, so is this different than the howler? Sorry if that's a dumb question. That is not a dumb question, sir. It is very different than the howler. The howler has been described as being about the size of a bear, but looking more like a hellhound or a big dog. Only it's got horns on its head. Some versions of the story have described the horns as being curved, but most of the ones I've read say the horns go straight back. They look like ram's horns, but only straight.
Yeah, they've been, like I said, they've talked about it in North Carolina and the Blue Ridge Mountain areas.
Well, even the Lakota talked about it. I read an article about that. In fact, I think the Minashunka is actually a Lakota word, which is odd because the Lakota, I don't know if they got this far south. The bulk of the Lakota tribes were up in the Dakotas. Hang on, trying to catch up with the comments. Tanya Willen says Draculin sounds like a great name for a baby goth.
James Hardy got muted by Nightbot. He's asked if we could shout out his brothers Justin and Dick Snyder, or Dick Sider.
Awesome.
The bot's going crazy again.
Yeah, it sounds like Nightbot needs to go into timeout.
You know what? And I'm glad that I skipped over the initials because that was not a good comment. Those are not his brothers. If you read that in your head, he was trying to troll us. So I'm glad it did get muted.
Oh. Okay.
If you read it in chat, did it make sense to you now? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's why I was laughing.
Nightbot
was not. He got it, and we missed it. Yeah, guys, we're reading comments so quick. Can you get us like this? Absolutely. Should you though? Come on, man. We're trying to make some entertainment for you guys. No reason to get us to get demonetized.
Don't be a hater.
You're right about the word shunka. Yeah, I thought so because of the shunka warican. And I thought that was a Lakota word. Tanya Willis says Nightbot has Tourette's. There was a comment earlier I forgot to mention from Josh Dalton. He said that the Minashunka was just a Logue on a tear.
So what I read in the short period of time that I had, the knife dog, if you translate the name, is basically just like a flightless vampire bat.
But it's huge.
It's huge.
Vampire
Well, like the
bats,
size of a fox.
about the size of a squirrel.
So
But
it
some
would be
accounts say this is
more.
like the size of a medium dog or a pit bull.
That's what I was gonna say. It'd be more like the fruit bat then.
Right.
Bigger.
Right.
Okay, I got you. Just trying to get my head around it.
Yeah.
Northwoods cracks me up.
Yeah.
He gets that Nightbot on his ex. William Nighthawk says, we went south sometimes as far as southern Missouri. That is awesome, man.
They even use echolocating like bats, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly.
They may actually be blind because they live in deep caves.
Interesting.
Mondoc 40 in Research says, I was just going to ask about the Shunkawarican. Now, we talked about that on the show where we talked about hellhounds. I think the Shunkawarican may be a variant of a hellhound from the descriptions because I think Shunkawarican means dog stealer or dog thief, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, there's so much shit out there, man. You can't even get you. I mean, who knows what's running around in the woods and the mountains anymore? Please.
Tanya Willis says, are there any illustrations of these things? I have not found a good one. That's the bad thing. They are all like really, really bad drawings.
Yeah.
But I will keep looking. But again, all of the ones I found were just like looked like they were drawn by a grade schooler with an angry grade schooler with a broken crayon.
I might have some. Let me look because I found some and I was going to send it to you and I didn't.
Look like most of the jail tattoos I've seen.
The few that I found when I was looking for it came up as the chupacabra, oddly enough.
Yeah. Yeah, Derek had a question about the legs on the hyena. That's kind of what their body type is like with the long front legs.
Quiet. Nope.
Here
we go. Quiet. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to find it in here. I'm going to find it. Here it is. It's on, hey, DA, if you go to Monster Quest, it's called the Vampire Beast. And there's a picture of it. That's exactly what they've been drawing is this thing. It's got the crazy ears on it. Give me a minute. Let me put him up. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. That's cool. Very interesting.
I think I snagged a picture. Let me get this uploaded real fast. Yeah, Monster Quest did a show on what they called the Vampire Beast, and it's a little grainy, but that's basically what we get. You can see the pointed ears.
Right.
The face looks very similar to a bat, but I could kind of see where people would think dog. Front legs are bowed out, obviously longer than the back legs, and of course the back is humped up, kind of like a grizzly bear. How the back is actually higher than the rest of it, so it's a pretty nasty looking little monster. William Nighthawk says flying fox mutation, possibly, maybe. It's hard to say, but flying foxes aren't native to North America, so I don't think that there would be an offshoot of them because those were never here. Smedley D. Wright says your dog's here, Batman. So he also asks if it's a dog man. I don't think so because it's not that big. Dogmen have been reported as tall as 9 feet tall, and that thing is about the size of a medium-sized dog, 70, 80-pound dog.
Here's a decent drawing of one.
Oh, okay. Derek Buckle says it appears more rodentia to me, weasel or another type. I could see that. That's a pretty good drawing. That's not something I'd want to run into when I was
Tanya Willis said looks like a
rodents of unusual
looks like
size.
a roid rage wombat.
Yeah. I told you it looked like a pit bull, and like it was all messed up, man. It was all It's crazy looking. It's all it is.
ROUSs.
Marshall says, "Damn, I'd shoot it."
Yeah.
I walked out in the backyard and that was out there. You can bet your butt it's going to get a mag dump.
Yeah,
Mark
it's
Napier says
yeah.
flying foxes don't drink blood. That's a good point. Some of the accounts seem to think that it might be some sort of weird relation to the vampire bat, but it's bigger and it doesn't have wings. And I'm going to have to go back. I thought I'd seen all of the Monster Quests, but I don't remember that one.
Did you see the picture of it though? Everybody
Yes,
got
I
it,
did.
right?
I had it already up already. One of the accounts, they say it's about the size of a very large fox or a raccoon, but has a snub nose, and it drinks blood by lapping it up after slicing the victim with razor sharp teeth like a huge wingless vampire bat. But it runs on all fours. Someone reported that their great grandmother was part Lakota, and she would tell stories about animals found dead with no blood, but none of the meat was taken. They also had incisions across the arteries in their neck, leg, or genitals. Another source said he was sleeping in a cave in Springfield, Missouri. Hey, whoo, we're on the map.
Yeah. There you go.
Not sure why he'd be sleeping in a cave. He says when his foot must have slipped out from underneath the blanket. When he awoke in the morning, there was a deep, nearly surgical cut in the ball of his foot, but very little blood at first. After a few seconds, it wouldn't stop bleeding, as though there was some type of anticoagulant. He said he didn't feel pain from the wound until nearly half an hour later. He speculated that any blood before he woke was eaten by the creature.
And they got it. See, like right here, they have it reported in Charlotte and Lexington.
Mm-hmm.
And the report has the footprints of this thing are like this that they got, and it's been it killed this one guy. It killed 4 of his pit bulls, ripped their throats out and everything.
It's pretty tough if they could take out full-grown pit bulls. Mark Napier asks, how far do they go back in history? The oldest one I found so far, oldest account, dates back to, again, Douglas County, Booger County, Missouri, in the mid-1800s.
That thing is nasty looking. Damn.
It is nasty looking.
That looks more like a wolf.
William Nighthawk says Mayan people came all the way up to Utah and Georgia to the south, so flying fox could have been up here at one point. True, but flying foxes don't drink blood.
Yeah.
That would be a really, really odd mutation. Almost like something you'd expect out of Pripyat in the Ukraine.
Yeah.
Beasts of Chernobyl. Now, there's a show for us.
Well, they said they found... What did they find out there? Not to get off subject. They found some mutated stuff out there. The fish and other stuff. Frogs and shit like that, they said.
Mark Napier says the ball of the foot bleeds pretty heavily anyway.
In your research, did you read across the name the Beast of Bladenboro?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Yeah, I did. I didn't read about it because I wasn't sure if it was connected.
It seems to be.
Popped up. I'm like, it's probably not it. And then I went on.
It was basically this. That. It's this creature, supposedly the way it's described, in North Carolina.
Yeah, that's the way they call it, the vampire beast. Or
yep.
Here, this is it.
I got another image for you. I'll download.
Well, one of the accounts I read was in a book I've got, and I'll have to dig the book out and show it to you. It's an old book I found at a library auction, but it listed an account that was taken in northern Oklahoma, right along the Missouri-Oklahoma border, of a farmer that went out because he heard a commotion in his barn and found one of his prize cows dead with multiple bite wounds in it with no blood.
Oh, wonderful.
So it seems like more than one of them fed on it.
Yeah, that's great.
That looks almost felinoid.
Yeah, that could just be the artist's, liberties in drawing it. But it does look a little feline.
Like a wampus cat or something.
But if you read these articles here, it has a lot of similar, going after animals, just like a chupacabra or the vampire beast. Sucked the blood from their veins. Last night, it charged a farmer's wife, but fled when she screamed for her husband. Killed dogs.
Killed 5 pigs and 3 chickens. Wow.
Yep.
Damn.
That's in North Carolina, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This particular one, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one they talk about that up there all the time. I know that.
Sal Paso says, how many states have these things been seen in? Well, apparently more and more that we're kind of discovering. One of the accounts I've read, I pretty much kept my research to the Ozarks because it was referred to as the Ozarks vampire beast. But apparently the similar or the same creatures being seen all over the country.
In 2021, there was a movie called The Beast of Bladenboro. They made a movie out of this.
Nice. Naoma Finn. Hey, Naoma.
What did she say?
Was the vampire's name Lorena?
What did she say?
was the vampire's name Lorena? Oh Lord!
Okay, I got that.
Now, here's a question. Seeing as even if you look at this one here, you could say even that has some feline.
Yeah,
attributes.
I see similar.
What if this is just an offshoot of maybe some sort of bobcat or something?
Bobcats would eat the meat.
They would, but like I said, maybe an offshoot, or maybe one that's been afflicted in some way that goes after just the blood. It's hard to say. I'm just kind of spitballing here.
Well, it's entirely possible. I mean, without us having one to examine,
right?
The speculation can run rampant. We wouldn't really know. Yeah. William Nighthawk says Appalachian folklore has a beast resembling it. There's some creepy crap along the Appalachian Trail. There really is.
Those mountains are just scary in general.
Werewolf 5674 says, when you say drained of all blood, I wonder if they mean that's what they think it was doing, or is it sucking the blood out because it's very hard to drain something of all its blood? They say it acts very much like a vampire bat, cutting into an incision, making an incision, a razor sharp incision.
There we go. We got that.
I'll spit it out eventually. But if it hits an artery, it could at least drain enough to exsanguinate it.
Yeah, it'll bleed right out.
Corey Cole says, I just walked outside and heard something growling across the road. Y'all got me freaking out. Grab a shotgun and a bright flashlight. Don't forget to take a camera because we want to see it.
Yeah, no one's got a picture of this thing at all.
No.
Not even a blurry picture at one. They don't even have nothing, just drawings.
Marion Carroll says, in Oregon, cattle got mutilated more than once and were found with their sex organs, tongue, and eyes cut out cleanly with no blood at the scene. That may be more like the cattle mutilation stories like that related to the old black helicopter tales, and because those are reported all over the Southwest.
Unless it's that other creature that Naomi mentioned that's roaming the woods out there,
True. William Nighthawk says feline connection is a great theory.
Well, check this thing out I just found, because as we said, the Appalachians are old as hell, and who knows what's living up there, right? We could have what we believe to be prehistoric animals still living in dark corners, right? The creodonts, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, share a common ancestor with members of the order of the Carnivora. They bear superficial similarity to large cats or enormous weasels, but are actually quite distinct. It is very similar to the Ozark howler, the beast of Bladenboro, and seems to fit a lot of the characteristics. And it blends the look of a cat and a dog.
Really? Well, then it may tie into the howler. But although the stories of the howler, I never heard anything about the howler drinking blood.
Yeah.
This isn't specifically focusing on blood, just more of the size, the look.
Oh, okay. Sal Paso says, I wish one would show up at my house and take care of all the feral cats.
Oh, man.
Naoma says she thinks it's just a catty dog man. That's funny.
Could be.
Tanya Willis says there's a large gliding marsupial called a colugo that looks a tad like this. Not an indigenous North American species, though. Does it drink blood? Irene Duet saying, sorry I'm late, folks. Hey, well, thank you for coming anyway. It doesn't matter if you're on time or not. We just appreciate you having you. Corey Cole says weasels are as tough as they come. That's true. Speaking
Yeah.
of weasels, one of the largest members of the weasel family is the Wolverine. And I just read an account today of a trapper that watched a Wolverine kill a polar bear.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Holy hell! Yeah,
They'll actually take down a full-grown elk too.
Yeah, they'll take down moose, which weigh them about 20 to 1.
They'll take it down, gorge on. They'll just eat it. I mean, it's crazy, man.
That is
Nuts.
a mean animal. I think it's
Since
my
we're-
spirit animal.
since we're on that point of like weasels in that family, did you know they prefer to suck the blood of the prey of their animal?
Yeah.
So
And
it could be some type of Wolverine.
And they actually will bite the back of the neck.
The neck, like a tiger does when it gets, does the
Holy
same thing.
crap. Mystery
like
solved, folks.
I mean,
That's
it's some
it.
sort of.
It's
All
a
right, good night,
prehistoric
everyone.
I was gonna say it's a prehistoric. It's like a saber-toothed Wolverine.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and that's what I was reading. That creature I was talking about has connections in the family line to weasels as well.
Yeah.
Well, question, is an otter part of the weasel family?
I don't know.
I don't know if
They're
an otter's a
too
weasel.
cute.
Because they have giant otters in the Amazon that kill caimans.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, they actually killed a leopard. I watched a video of them
Otters are
killing a
tough.
leopard.
That's rad.
William Nighthawk says, there you go, brothers. Maybe people should pay more attention to native people legends and cave wall writing, petroglyphs. You're absolutely right, man. I've been saying that for a long time.
Yeah, they knew what was up back then.
Oh my
Craig
God.
Hols's bat weasels.
Well, just remember the creature we're talking about, just because we use the term vampire, does not supposedly have wings. It just
Right.
has the characteristics of the blood
A
sucking.
vampire.
Yeah.
So this could be like a weird offshoot of the weasel family that happens to secrete that numbing toxin.
Might
What'd you
be.
call it? Draculin?
Well, it's the numbing toxin is different. I hadn't found that one yet. It's an anticoagulant. It's a protein in their saliva. I can't remember the exact demetaplase or something like that, but they nicknamed it Draculin. It's the same thing that vampire bats have.
I thought that was
So-
the name of Rob Zombie's race car.
I thought that was Dracula, Draculin.
That's the Dragula. That's
Yeah.
right. Sorry about that.
But it's
Dig through those dishes.
interesting. It is interesting though that these I mean the theory on possibly offshoot genetic anomaly or some sort of evolutionary anomaly of the Wolverines, that's plausible.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It
Just
seems
there
to
and there
fit.
66 says there are many First Nation stories about Wolverines. Sorry, Josh.
No, I was agreeing with Doc that it seems to fit a lot of the characteristics. And if you upscale a badger, it will look a lot like that thing that we're looking at from Monster Quest. I mean, it really would.
Yeah.
Nick Mills says weasels are in the same family as otters.
Okay.
And
There
then
you go.
Irene DeWitt had a good comment. She says that's why when you see a Wolverine, climb a tree fast. They're very dangerous. I kind of think those things will probably just follow you up the tree,
Yeah.
or just mean enough to gnaw through the tree and get your butt back down on the ground anyway.
Just be laying down suppressive fire, man. Screw that.
Smedley
Yeah.
Do Right says you guys are cryptid detectives. Well, Josh found the connection, so it's really Josh.
I mean, armchair detective is even a strong, strong connection to make. I got lucky with a click.
Northwood says maybe it's a distant relative of the Tasmanian devil.
Actually, I think that's in the same family. To come to think of it, I think it's in like the weasel stoat family.
Taz like bottle caps.
We're not even 35 minutes into it and we're going.
Woohoo! Tanya Willis says otters are in the same family as badgers and weasels.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
never
interesting.
mind. Tasmanian devil is in a completely separate family.
It's because everything from Australia is in some weird offshoot anyway. Brian
Yeah.
Marek says their otters are 6 feet long. Good God, that's a big otter.
Holy hell.
Yeah, the Mustelid family, I think is how it's pronounced. But you got anything from skunks to weasels and stoats, Wolverine, true badgers, otters, whatever the hell a zorilla is. it looks like a skunk, but like more terrifying.
Have you ever seen a picture of a European badger and a picture of an American badger side by side? The European badger looks like it's going to invite you over for tea and crumpets. The American badger
The
looks like it's going
anteater
to
looking
shit
one?
you in the alley.
Yeah.
That's what they actually call. That's a true badger. Of course, the English get the true badger.
Yeah. Oh yes, we saw it first. We get to name it.
It's got a little freaking tiny ascot and a pipe and some brandy.
No, that couldn't possibly be a true badger. Only the British badger is true.
Oh my god!
You bloody colonials don't need a badger.
We don't need no stinking badgers.
Oh, and then, like you said, you got our badgers who are just out there with like a broken bottle, be like, "I'll gut you, boy."
Yeah.
Cocky.
Freaking back alley
Kenny Willis
math
says
head.
there's some really disturbing stories about otter behavior. I had to stop reading the article because I still want to think they're cute.
Yeah,
So,
little
yeah.
ones.
Hey, Derek Buckles has a good point. He said giant weasels from D&D in the old editions had a blood-sucking attack.
Because it's what they do to chickens. Let's see.
There's a joke there, but I'll shy away. Mark Napier says, yeah, as long as they ain't bulletproof. John Doe says he used to have a pet ferret. One of my friends growing up, my buddy Sean, had a pair of ferrets. And those were the weirdest animals because they'd be looking at you and running at you, but they look like they're running sideways the whole time. Just weird little animals.
I had
It's like they're undulating as they move.
I had two. They were crazy, man.
They stink.
Oh yeah, they do.
They
Let
are
me tell you.
stinky little bastards.
Interesting.
John Doe, that's back in the one that I was talking about earlier. There's an account of a Wolverine killing a full-grown polar bear by latching onto its throat and refusing to let go. Tenacious little monsters.
Yeah, they got the video of one taking down a full elk. I watched the video of that.
Corey Cole says the whole otter family will fight to the death, babies included.
Yeah.
Eli Harrison says, look up Mink Man on YouTube. He trains minks to hunt rats, and those minks are vicious. Wow. Well, of course,
I've seen that. That's crazy.
The what are they called? Mongoose is a member of the ferret family, and those things hunt cobras.
Yeah.
Ricky Tiki Tabby, baby.
There you go.
You want to see a 5 million? What they look like a 5 million year old honey badger looks like?
It just takes,
which is in the same family.
It just takes what it wants.
Honey badger don't care.
This is the honey badger. Watch out, says that bird.
Holy moly!
Sweet baby
Damn.
Jesus.
Kind of fits the bill, doesn't it?
Armor that up and ride it into combat.
And
that
then,
looks like a panther almost.
Jesus.
And then this is an Antarctic Wolverine. Look how big
Antarctic?
that is. Yeah, I mean it's an artist rendition
it's
of one.
extinct now, or it could possibly explain why Arctic expeditions go missing.
But I'm just saying the size and the shape, it just seemed to line up with what we're talking about.
Exactly. It's very similar.
Says, "Dang, stop making me laugh, guys. I have surgery Monday morning."
Hope your surgery goes well, brother.
Yeah, hope so, man.
So there's a strong possibility this thing might be a part of the Mustelid family, and I know I'm butchering that name, but
It's okay, Josh. You're not British. You bloody colonial.
That's right.
What did you put? Sounds like an ex-girlfriend? What was that?
William Nighthawk says it sounds like an ex-girlfriend of his.
Man, between him and Cryptid, Northwoods Cryptid.
Northwoods.
Holy crap.
Corey Cole says, my grandfather was a sailor on Operation High Jump in 1947. He said there are penguins down there that are close to 4 feet tall.
Did they carry umbrellas?
Do that little dance. It's Charlie Chaplin with a beak.
Holy hell, man.
Doc, holy crap. Finally found one your height you could dance with.
That's not funny.
That's messed up.
That's just mean and hurtful. Just saying. Yeah.
Be careful, man. Don't want to be looking at penguin eye to eye.
Hey, at least I'd be Big Spoon in that situation. Just saying. Lord. Everybody's 6'2" when I'm compared to me.
Doc in a tuxedo would just blend right in.
Oh man, that's interesting, man. That's an interesting theory, though. I know we came off on that a little bit differently, but than I thought it would. But those pictures and everything, the way that sucker's got the bigger legs and it's kind of low slung in the back. I mean, why the hell? I mean, there's all kinds of genetic anomalies or evolutionary anomalies. How many things have we not seen?
Right.
You know, so
Yeah.
that makes total sense. Absolutely.
And like I said, you talk about these animals maybe hanging out in caves or up in the Appalachian Mountains. It could just be a low populated species that's hung around.
Yeah, exactly. And they're so mean and nasty. They really don't have much of a threat. You know,
I was like, stay the hell away.
Yeah,
They're probably no natural predators.
Absolutely. They're top of the food chain, and
not in that area. No, they would be the most fierce predator in that. Hell, I bet you even Dogman and Bigfoot stay the hell away from those things. That's their badger. They're like, Bigfoot, nah, bro.
Bigfoot's like, did you see what he did to that elk? Hell with that. We're staying away from his little crazy bastard.
I saw him carrying a goat's head down the road.
Yeah.
Derek Buckle says, there have been any reports of other paranormal activity along with sightings or attacks? Not that I'm aware of. It's not like some of the accounts where they talk about Bigfoot or Dogman being seen in proximity where a UFO was also seen. I've never heard anything like that. It's just talk about finding dead animals, and there are some. Again, they're probably apocryphal stories, but second and third hand stories that someone heard back, X number of years ago, that a traveler was found exsanguinated at the side of the road, or somebody went camping and was found later with no blood in the body. So there, I don't know if there's actually any proven attacks on humans, but there are some certain anecdotal stories that talk about attacks on humans. But there are lots of accounts of farm animals showing up, basically ringing out like a wash rag.
Yeah, and that's hard. That's hard to explain because there's absolutely zero blood around any of these bodies when they're finding them. And people who have been claimed to have been attacked by it typically survive, but any kind of pets or farm animals, anything like that, maybe sometimes smaller, they're the ones that end up dead.
Well, humans would have way more blood than an animal that size could take in at one time, which leads me to that story. The farmer down on the Oklahoma border that found a prize cow that had multiple bite wounds on it. Yep. It was dead. So I guess if there's a pack of them, they'll drain a person pretty well. Or a flock of Georgia mosquitoes.
Yeah, because you think about it, like the average human has roughly about 5 liters of blood. So just over a gallon and a liter. So they could do it.
William Nighthawk says, actually, Bigfoot and Dogman be the ones that eat the meat after it drains the blood.
Could be.
Could be working like hand in hand.
Just, typical, like, ecological cycle, that they just, like, you would find in any area of animals that...
Oh, like the Predator movie. When they got those dogs and they let the dogs loose, those predator dogs, and the things are chasing them. I mean,
yeah.
Lene Perkins had a question. She says, "Is the otter man in Alaska a real cryptid, and what does it do to its victims?" That's one I don't know a whole lot about.
We brought it up on a show a long time. I don't know if it's during the Alaska show or before that.
Yeah, I think it was when we had Beans Baxter on, when we were talking about the hairy man of Alaska. Fred lives up that way. Fred,
I was going to say.
In the chat room tonight. If you're in the chat tonight, I think I saw your name earlier. If you know anything about the otter man, let me know. I'll throw you an invite, and you can come in and tell us about it.
Yeah, because Fred's been out in the woods all his life. He would know all about that, probably.
Doc, what's got you giggling?
I don't know. He's giggling. What are you reading?
It was
Death by Penguins, the band name.
Yeah, and it was like said Eli Harrison said, "Remember, your chances of death by penguin are extremely low, but never rare."
Never zero.
and then Tony Harris, "Death by Penguins," band name. So.
So yeah,
No.
I'm kind of brushing up on it because I know we looked it up before, but the Kushtaka were like a monkey, like otter, Bigfoot like creature, but not as big. It was this much smaller, and apparently they could also shape change as well.
That's what Derek Buckles was just asking.
Yep.
Yeah, Tiny Willis.
Kelly Roush says, "Is it possible that the conservation department's introducing new conservation?" Okay, I read that wrong. The conservation department's introducing new species in different states or reintroducing. I would say possibly, but the sightings go back since long before there was a conservation agency in Missouri.
It seems more likely that it was like what we were saying, a low population of species that almost like the billy ape, off in the corner of a world where no one's really paying attention to until maybe their population's starting to grow a little bit, so we're getting more and more sightings. And eventually it'll be one of those things where everyone blows it off, until someone drags one out and be like, there it is.
Well,
and then you got the British Museum. Oh yes, we knew it existed. We get to name it. I saw it first.
Let's put it this, man. I mean, me growing up up north, man. I grew up in New York, in the city, for half my life. The rats up there in the sewers, I'm not lying, are the size of cats.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you got a rat, right, like that big, coming out of a sewer manhole. It'll freak you out. I mean, people, oh no, they don't. Yeah, they do. They get big. And they're killing. You got to understand what's living down in the sewer. There's cats that live down there. They found other weird stuff, and these rats are feeding off these things. So why couldn't it be possible for something in the Ozarks, like DA said and you said, to be doing all this crazy stuff? I mean, you're in a city and you're seeing these giant rats.
Yeah.
You want to solve the New York City rat problem? Tell the guys down in Arkansas you'll give them $5 a pelt.
Mm-hmm.
Get in the Dodge, boys.
Meg Mill goes, Anthony, yes, they are. Yeah, so yeah, I mean they're big.
Yeah, I saw a video of it. Yeah, a cat, a New York City cat and a rat squared up. And the cat was like, I'm good, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a cat and a raccoon story that's not fit to be told on the air.
I got a story of a rat. How about a rat snake and a rat fighting in someone's living room?
That would be an interesting fight.
I got a video of it.
I'd be going.
Kelly Rauch says, for example, Iowa released several pairs of Wolverines. Wow. That's kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
Because if those come south, like when Arkansas, released black bears back into the ecosystem, the black bears, pretty much like everybody else, didn't want to be in Arkansas, and they came north to Missouri. Yeah. So they're everywhere here. We're seeing them in town.
That's another thing that people need to look at too. That if you, just like you were mentioning the rats, if you take an animal that may be well known in one area of the world and show it to some random person lives in the city who barely sees dogs and cats, they're going to be like, what the hell is, show them a Komodo dragon and they've never heard of one,
right?
They're going to lose their minds. So that has to be taken into account too, that just because the person who sees it isn't familiar with it doesn't mean that it just may not be, native to that region or seen very often.
Look at South Florida. With the iguanas and super snakes. Yeah, come on, man.
William Nighthawk says, aren't they called Newton? The nutria rat's something else entirely.
Yeah, it's in.
They're down in Louisiana, Mississippi, and they're tasty.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Had one.
I ate one.
They ate pretty good.
They actually eat the roots. The roots, and they burrow into the side of the banks, so that they destroy the ecosystem.
John Doe says it's a long tradition of science to repeatedly prove the existence of things other scientists denied.
Hey, if you're not trying to one-up your fellow scientists, then why are you even a scientist? That's progression. That's how we've gotten as far as we have.
Do you even science, bro? Just saying.
Naoma says, Arkansas is called the opportunity state. My dad, who was born there, said that it meant everyone has the opportunity to leave.
Sounds like Ohio. When I moved to Missouri, a lot of I asked, well, why is it called the Show Me State? And my mom looked around and goes, do you see one goddamn fence around here? Everyone's backyard is completely open to everyone else. That's why it's the Show Me State.
Yeah.
I'll show you yours if you show
You
me
show
mine.
me mine.
Oh,
I didn't know that. Werewolf. He says New York has an entire rat department just for. No, I didn't know that. Had no
oops, I
idea
didn't
about
mean to
that.
click on that.
Meg just sent me this, the Otter Man.
Yeah. Kushtaka.
That's
Yeah,
that's kind of frightening.
They're very spiritual, supposed to be linked to Native Americans in the area. They can shape change. Supposedly, they call your name kind of like a skinwalker as well. A lot of weird stuff.
Just about to say that, Josh. Skinwalker.
William Nighthawk says possums are supposed to taste good, but I wouldn't eat it. I've had possum and I've had raccoon, but there's a trick to possum. Possums are garbage eaters. They'll eat just about anything. If you're really desperate enough you want to eat a possum, you need to pin that rascal up for about a week and feed it nothing but corn and real food until it gets all the junk out of its system. And then only then I would
that's like a
recommend eating
catfish.
one.
You almost have to do that with a catfish before you cook it. You got to soak the hell out of it.
It's a bottom feeder.
Yeah.
Kelly Rush says a farmer shot one with mange, and a trucker run over one and was stuck to the dually tires in the same county. Dum, 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 dum. Or
Terrible.
71 Vega Man says hello from Massachusetts. Hey, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Smedley Do Right says New York probably needs extra large rat traps. Yeah, that's just for the politicians.
Yep. I can name two, but I'm not going to.
Lanita says
Probably just need to get them all.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Just round them all up. Lindy says, I once had a tiny mouse until my ex grabbed it and threw it out in the yard. Poor Minnie.
That's sad.
I agree with Naomi. She says, I don't care for either. Possum's too greasy and a raccoon is too stringy. And there's nothing you can do to raccoon to get that gamey taste out of it. It just doesn't go away.
If I want something gamey and tastes like crap, I'll go get McDonald's.
Good point.
Yeah.
What? Here's something you can do. You can soak that sucker in buttermilk for about 48 hours.
That's what I do to catfish.
My ex-girlfriend's mother would soak it in red wine overnight and then put it in buttermilk, and you'd swear to God you were eating a piece of brisket.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
It tastes like roast beef, man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. It was crazy how she did it.
Yeah. Hey, man, if you're hungry enough, everything tastes pretty damn good.
Oh, yeah.
It all tastes like chicken.
Oh, yeah. And you, Doc, you've been in the service, so you're baiting some nasty shit before, too, so.
Derek Buckle says, and now the food recipes begin.
Yes. Julia Childs.
There you go.
Possum.
Yeah.
Armadillo, also known as possum on the half shell.
Possum tartar.
We always referred to armadillos as up-armored possums.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Oh, hell, people eat those.
Topic.
People are eating those iguanas, man. Tree chickens, they call them.
How did Julie used to? Oh, hello. Everything's better with butter.
Oh, hello.
Possum pie. There you go. That was in a cartoon. What cartoon was that? I'm trying to think. Rhode Island Red.
I can't see a name.
I'll stick with
Pork and Beans says, if everything tastes like chicken, what's chicken taste like?
Bald
Chicken.
Eagle.
Yeah.
Frog
I'm
legs.
kidding. I've never eaten a bald eagle.
I love frog legs. Get on the subject.
That was a joke, folks.
What? What did you say?
I said tastes like bald eagle.
Naomi says,
I'm pretty bald eagle. That's a federal crime.
Naomi says, I'm pretty sure McDonald's uses raccoon meat. I wouldn't be surprised.
I think
who
it's
knows?
kangaroo.
Actually, kangaroo is supposed to be really good. Did you know? Point of fact, and since you brought it up,
you got
kangaroo
Doc
meat.
snorting in the background. Hold on a minute. He's got me going.
Kangaroo
Sorry.
meat is actually used in dog food, and do you know it actually will self-heat as you mix it with other chemicals? Like it gets like really hot enough to burn you.
So why would you want to eat that then?
I'm just saying it's a thing.
Okay. I was gonna say, why would you want it? Oh boy, look at that. Why is this shit
used to
still
work-
hot? We've had it out for 4 days.
I
know.
used to work at an Iams food plant, and I hated working kangaroo because it got hotter than hell. Just mixing
They actually
it up.
put it in dog food.
Yeah, it's a kangaroo meat is I don't remember the correct term, but like a legitimate meat.
Really?
I worked with salmon, chicken, kangaroo, all kinds of stuff. Doc seems disappointed by that.
No, that's interesting. I was just sitting
God
back.
Damn
Iams.
Iams!
I can't see a damn thing tonight, man. My eyes are getting all wonky on me.
Marshall Sirota says, "Why does the Ohio DNR recognize the Sasquatch?" Josh, you
Why
live in
wouldn't
Ohio.
they?
Yeah, why wouldn't they?
Because first of all, if you haven't seen it yet, when you watch movies and TV shows, something's always happening in Ohio. Keep that in mind when you watch movies and TVs going forward. They always mention Ohio. Two, we're going to be the first ones to mention it. I mean, it's Ohio. We're everywhere.
Tanya Willis says, "So many times I've read that human tastes like pork. Who in Hades did that research?" Well,
People who ate human.
That comes from the cannibal tribes. My brother was with a special forces unit in Vietnam, and he said that the Montagnard indigenous people referred to human as long pork.
Yeah, they would eat them.
He said they were sitting down to eat with him one time. They said, "What are we having?" And they said, "It smells delicious." And one of the interpreters says, "It's long pork." And my brother goes, "What the hell's long pork?" And he says, "Oh, it's a guy they captured." And he's like, "Oh, I think I'll just stick with the sea rats, thanks."
You know, it doesn't surprise me that it tastes like pork, though, considering how compatible we are with pigs, which is weird.
Right. Well, the one soccer team that were crash landed in the Himalayas. The one that they interviewed.
That was in the Andes.
They interviewed them and they said that the meat, if they didn't have the meat off the dead bodies, and they asked him what it tastes like, and he said the same thing. It tasted like pork. It tasted like pork, and they would cook it right on the wing of the plane from the sun cooking it. That was weird.
I'm good.
Lord have mercy. All right. So.
Oh yeah.
Minashunka.
That conversation took a weird turn after a while.
We took that left turn at Albuquerque, and there we went. So I don't know what happened.
We ended up in.
We don't need no stinking topic.
No.
Mighty.
Have I got that up on the store yet?
We
got the embrace the topic. We need
I've already got one of those. I've worn it on the show a couple of times.
I need a picture of DA and even if we have to Photoshop it, Will Grey Eagle's car with the door open, almost like the DeLorean. Where we're going, we don't need topics.
Well, I can get pictures with that actual car because it belongs to my old lieutenant.
I think that'd be a cool shirt.
I asked him if I could use his car for like promo pictures, and he's like just like for pictures on the book jacket. I said that, and I might have a character have one just like it. He's like, oh heck yeah, definitely do that. So
now we put cooking hints on for human flesh. Oh, there you go.
Since we're on the topic of shirts, real quick, I just want to give an update. Here in the next day or two, maybe even tonight, I'm going to have the new logo up on the store for posters and shirts. Not just shirts.
Shirts are going to go away.
Your typical fare with each. If you guys don't know this, because Teespring is good about some things and not good about others. When you look at the store, you only see a shirt. If you guys click on that design that you like, there is a multitude of items that you can get with that particular logo. So, for example, if you click on the Wild Hunt logo, there's mugs, cups, backpacks, shirts, hoodies. Just, we're showcasing that logo on a shirt. So, New merch will be up soon. Old merch will be down soon. So if you want it, get it while it's hot.
I was looking for the image.
I can just pull it right off of Teespring if you want.
Okay, go right ahead.
For the old design.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you want the old design, the old DAX Machina logo that had me, Steve, and Naoma on it, it's going to probably go away in the next week or so. Never to be seen again.
Phone cases. There's all kinds of stuff that you can get for each logo. Classic T. Here we go.
Excuse me.
Almost got it.
Hey, Doc.
Howdy.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
I still got this picture of the Otter Man up on my screen. It won't go away. Why?
I don't know. Yeah, that logo.
That's the one of the old logos. Some of them have the blue background as well, like the mugs and the posters. Is it still on your screen, Anthony?
Yeah, it's still there.
You might have to just refresh
your browser.
I mean, I don't know why it's doing that. It did it last week too, and then who knows?
That's terrible.
What?
Neil says, I hate that picture. Glad it's going away. Well, it's a collectible now.
Does that mean that we need to run a discount?
Yes, we do.
So let's do
I don't know, at least 10%. At least 10%,
right.
Maybe 20.
I have an idea for the actual wording too. Give me a second. See if it'll let me type that whole thing in. We'll run it till next Saturday.
Sounds good. Run it for a week. And then next Saturday, well, actually Sunday morning probably, that t-shirt and any merch with that old logo on it will go the way of the dodo. Here's a good opportunity to let everybody know. If you haven't already hit the like and subscribe button, please do so. We would really appreciate that. Smack that the subscribe button right in the schnoz. Hit that little alarm bell so you get updated anytime we go live. And please, if you don't mind, share this video with anybody you know that might enjoy content like this. Because yes, in the midst all the hijinks, there has been a little bit of content. So please, help share that, and it'll helps the channel continue to grow. Uh-oh, Doc's up to something.
Yeah, he's doing something.
Okay, how about this?
Tony Harris asks, he says, Monster Quest Vampire Beast episode, where to watch? I believe the Monster Quest episodes are all on Amazon Prime.
Well, yeah, let me look.
And they might be on Netflix as well.
He can get it. The one episode we're talking about is the Vampire Beast, is season 2, episode 2. That's what it's on.
I need to watch that one again because I did not remember it.
It's on YouTube, and it's actually the full show.
Really? So,
yeah.
Okay, you can find Monster Quest episodes, the full episodes on YouTube.
Yeah.
What you got there, Doc?
Doc's doing something.
Oh, I'm trying to hook my headphones back up there to the charger.
Oh, okay.
They're dying.
Just there and there, 66 is there are rumors of someone seeing dodos on a GoPro. Well, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that one guy had it, and the one guy had it on drone, too. Supposedly. And it flew over the island. I watched that documentary on it. It was pretty crazy.
All right, so I've got the discount code up for the merch store. We'll run it for a week. The discount code is open, the number 2, doubt, in honor of Naoma. while we run that design for one more week. So you get 10% off any of your purchases in the store, especially if you want to pick up that design before it goes away.
Excellent.
Josh, you want to throw the link in the chat for that direct product?
Yeah, I think I have it hyperlinked, or nightbotted. I think. See if it works. Yeah, there it is.
Tanya Melissa's Dodos on a GoPro sounds like a great dubstep band name.
Oh, man.
Not a eulogy, just an honorific for our good friend.
So if you want to get the last of the T-shirts with Naomi on them, that's how you do it.
You know she's going to comment now.
Oh yeah, she did.
She did.
Okay.
She spotted it. So, Anthony, you said you had saw accounts of that vampire beast in North Carolina.
No, I've heard stories about it because my mom and dad had a cabin up there, and I used to hunt up there a lot too, and I got pretty close with some of the property owners when I was hunting up there. They got all the tall tales up there, I mean, everything, and they've talked about this thing killing their livestock, and it would be, first they would say it was a wolf because they introduced wolves back, I think, into North Carolina a couple of years ago. They did. I think it was the red wolf, it was red wolf or something like that they introduced, and a lot of livestock was coming up dead, but they already proved it wasn't a wolf that was doing it. And they would find a lot of the chickens not even tore up, just drained, and a lot of the goats. They had a lot. Everybody up there has goats for some reason. They have a lot of goats up there.
Can't have chupacabra without goats.
Right, and they found these goats. They just their blood drained out of it. Their necks, you could see where the holes were in their necks. And once you get to talking to these old timers up there, man, they got those stories, man, and you're like, what? They draw you in. Even with Bigfoot. Bigfoot was big up there. Huge up there in North Carolina. And this is in Bakersville, North Carolina. Okay? You're talking up in the mountains. So, I mean, it was high up there. And the stories that I've heard were just nuts. Just crazy. And I mean, that, DA, being around all the old timers, they'll just come out and, go back generations and generations. But yeah, this thing's been sighted. This vampire beast has been sighted in North Carolina. From what I understand, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia also. So,
Well, one thing that's a little different about the Ozarks version, the knife dog, is it's according to Ozarks tradition, it's supposed to be a bad omen. Seeing one is a harbinger of death, and if you talk about it much like we're doing now, it's supposed to be bad luck.
Yeah.
I'm just a hillbilly. If it weren't for bad luck, I wouldn't have any. So I'm
exactly.
too worried about that.
I'm used to it.
Tony Harris says Dodo's on a GoPro live in concert opening with Death by Penguins.
Lenina, I have a cap on in that picture. She said it doesn't look like me to put a cap on and retake the picture, but I put a picture on a cap on just for that picture.
What? You mean we weren't all actually standing there when taking that picture?
Right? Yeah, we all got together and just here. See, let me make it bigger for her. That's all of us together, but not all at the same time.
When I made the clear version for the logo in the corner, Let me upload it and put it in the middle of the screen so people can get a better look at it. Where's it at? There it is.
Yeah.
When it did the clear version, it cropped out part of Doc's hair.
Yeah, you say, remember that? Yeah, we looked at that.
It actually
fades away.
It looks. You look like one of the pictures from Back to the Future as you're fading out.
I look way taller in that picture for some reason too.
We
We
put
put
on a box.
we put a box under it for you.
Yes, thank you.
You know what though? I was gonna say it kind of looks like like a homegrown band. Just that we put together in the backyard.
I was just gonna say that.
Our name is Dodo's on a GoPro.
Doc was wearing those 70s 6-inch, 7-inch riser platform shoes with the goldfish in them.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
It was a stone groove, my man.
Oh, I can't.
Oh,
Can't. I can't.
I'm gonna have to end up making that at some point now.
Yeah, you are.
Dodo's on a GoPro and
Go
put that
get it.
under.
Funny.
To put that picture above it.
George Jennings says Highway 20 in Oregon is pretty scary. What goes on Highway 20?
In Oregon?
Yeah.
Really?
Meg Mills says 64 is a scary interstate at night. I mean, it's black out there. Well, yeah, you get out in the middle of nowhere and there's no city lights. It gets pretty dark.
Yeah. It might be a couple days for the new listings go up because I gotta get with Adam, and Adam's on hiatus for a few days, and we'll just kind of leave it at that.
I'm a little worried about Adam. Naomi Finn says, darn it, Josh, now I need to get a new headband. Mine just snapped under the pressure of the expanding ego.
Yeah, I'm getting that now too. You guys getting that feedback?
A little bit.
A little bit.
What is that?
Someone's mic or headphones that have a little feedback in them.
No, still there.
Everyone, I'll mute.
Wasn't me.
Ned.
I just muted my mic.
Yep, that's it. What was that?
Hey, there he is.
Hey, gentlemen.
It's Carrie.
We have a confirmed Steve sighting.
Steve the Wild Man.
Yeah, he's kind of like a cryptid, only slightly more intoxicated. Well, it's nice to be with you, gentlemen. Sorry I'm late. My wife, as fans of the show may know, is a teacher, and she and her partner was just
we talked about this thing, and now all the bad luck's going to hit us now. Watch.
But they wrote a grant to get an esports team at their school, and I guess the grant was awarded. They had a big gala tonight to celebrate it.
Nice.
And I had to be +1, so I had to be dressed up and sober, so it was kind of brutal.
I'm typically a +3 if you're shopping for me.
I'm a 3X.
You're 3X. I prefer extra tasty crispy.
Of course. Or is it blended, Steve?
Blended. There you go. What were they? I prefer cask strength. There we go.
The devil's cut.
The devil's cut. Oh my god. That stuff is pretty phenomenal because I think it is the only whiskey on the planet that I have been unable to drink.
Really?
I am not a fan. I tried mixing it. I tried taking it straight. I tried everything short of intravenously, and the stuff isn't drinkable in my humble opinion. But I set the bar pretty low. I mean, that's why my call sign's Limbo, but
Naomi says that would be her. Had some conversation about going about Wright-Patterson Air Force Base being part of Area 51. That's something we probably should hit at some point as part of the show. Oh, I think we lost
No,
Lost Anthony.
Oh yeah, we did.
Did I kick him off? I hope
No,
not.
no, he's probably lost his internet.
Okay.
Yeah, mine's cutting in and out too.
Well, you got
All
an
that-
excuse. You're in a hotel.
It's awesome.
Eli Harrison says it's the satellite that shall not be named.
We'll just call it Black Booger.
They're listening.
Da, you get a chance to watch that show I sent you. It was animated, but I thought you'd get a kick out of it. It's about the deep state.
No, I haven't watched that yet.
Oh, I watched the first couple episodes. It is hilarious.
I will have to watch that later this evening. Just FYI, Josh, should have a video for you to send to you tomorrow. I got a new gimbal mount for my cell phone for cameras. So I'm going to go down into Douglas County, and take some video down where the Ozarks vampire beast hangs out, and see if I can get some footage of that, or at least rednecks.
Get some good B-roll footage, and try to do most of your important narration on the main video, and make sure your GD Bluetooth is working. Trying to edit out wind and water noises sucks.
Well, you did a good job though. The video still got good sound quality.
Yeah, that took some work. There was a lot of fine tuning to that video.
I thought it was going to be a complete wash when I watched it. I was like, oh man. Hopefully Josh can pull out a miracle, because this is terrible.
I sent it.
Bluetooth mic didn't connect.
I sent it to Adam because he can sometimes do things that I can't. He goes, yeah, was he recording underwater? I go, might as well have been.
No, that was just a COPD.
Sound like Darth Vader.
Well, man, that babbling river was straight up talking up a storm.
Mark Napier says, camera in one hand and KSG in the other.
That's about right.
It's a gimbal mount. I'm going to mount it to a Picatinny on the KSG.
There you go. There's Anthony.
Hey, Anthony, you made it back. You lose signal? Oh, we can't hear you now.
God damn it, Anthony! Get that tourniquet off your neck.
Richie says, did everyone listen to the Dixie Cryptid news story of Steve Lilly, part 10? Yes, I did. It's an excellent story. Very good.
I had a chance.
Josh says Steve shows up dressed up, making everyone else look bad. Well, you don't take much to make me look bad.
Well, that way I feel a little bit more civilized.
Tony, there was a lot more than just high pass and low pass. I had filters that had their own filters built in. It was
there we go.
Some work.
Well, in my defense, my youngest son usually runs camera for me, and he'll tell me when the Bluetooth mic is connected. But he opted not to go on that particular little foray down to Moon Valley, and I set the phone up on my tripod and was going to go step out in front of the tripod and do the video, and I was certain I saw that the Bluetooth was working, but it was not. So I shot the entire video and had no sound. Well, bad sound.
Two other suggestions. One, do a test recording before you start and invest a half an hour. And second, let it record just the background noise for 10 to 15 seconds. Okay. You're not going to get a floor noise out in the woods, but it'll at least give me any static hum that your mic has or something.
Okay. Well, it's a really good Bluetooth microphone. I mean, I've had good results with it. The thing was, it just wasn't on.
The Moon Valley, the other one you sent me, had really good audio.
Yeah, I used that same microphone when we recorded down in Joe Bald that night, and it had really good sound quality. The night you were in here, Josh.
Hey, Willem, thanks for the super chat.
Hey, thank you, man. He said, good luck tomorrow, DA. Wanted to buy you a gallon of gas for your trip. $10, that's half a gallon.
Yeah, I was going to say, good luck with that. I don't know what it is down there, but we actually went down 20 cents this morning.
Really?
Yeah.
We're back under $4.
Holy
Yeah.
moly. Hopefully
As I was
ours is
driving-
dropping too.
Well, it was $3.50 a gallon, or $3.49.9 or whatever it is, as we were driving
Really?
home today, just a few minutes ago.
We're at $3.90.
See, the worst I saw when I was on my trip in Metro Miami, it was $4.45 for just 87 octane, rot gut.
Yeah.
It should be 10 to 15 cents cheaper over at Sam's Club, because their
That's
gas
right.
always runs cheaper than everybody else's.
We ended up going to Walmart for fuel because it was 10 cents cheaper than everywhere else.
Get fuel at the Walmart.
And going over to the Walmart to get me some diesel fuel.
You guys were doing the impressions from King of the Hill earlier, and on the way home from Miami, we were right around Talladega, Alabama, a little bit south of there, and this propane truck passed us, and it was like a private mom and pop company, and they had the LPG tanker, and on the side of it, it said, and I forgot what the name of the company is. What it was like, Bob's Big Ass Propane or something, and below it, it said, we sell propane and propane accessories. And I laughed so hard I spit my Diet Coke on myself. And my wife's like, "What's so funny?" I'm like, "It's from King of the Hill." She goes, "I don't get it." And I'm like,
We sell
Rachel.
propane and propane accessories.
"Oh,
Next time you head down toward Branson, go the old way, the back way down Campbell, out through Nixa. When you hit Highlandville, start looking on the right side of the road, because between Highlandville and Spokane, there's a little mom and pop propane place, and they've got a hand-drawn Hank Hill on their sign. I'm like, how do they not get sued?
I just want like
Anita,
a
thank
Bob,
you so much. You are awesome.
I just want Bob's Big Ass Propane sales now.
Yeah, they
All
also
right.
sell bait and HMOs. Yeah.
What did I miss?
Steve?
What did I miss?
Oh, just goofing.
Just my
Oh,
bad
okay.
humor.
Steve, you have to be Hank Hill. And I've got the hair to be his buddy, but I can't think of his name right off the top of my head. Doc gets to be Boomhauer.
What's his name?
Oh,
I can't think of it now.
you
It's
talk about
the
Stephen
name.
Root's character.
Yeah, what the hell's his name? Chat, help us out. The guy that wears the A-frame shirts and
The wife beater.
the wife beaters. He's just so lonely.
Dale.
What the hell is this?
Dale.
No,
Yeah.
No, Dale Gribble
Dale's
is the
bug
next
guy.
door neighbor, the bug guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
God damn, I need a
theory.
cigarette.
Damn it, boy. Get them panties off
Boudreaux?
your neck, you scaring ladybird.
8 o'clock in the morning, and already that boy's not right.
If you wasn't my son, I'd hug you.
Bill. Tanya got us.
Woohoo!
Good job, Tanya.
It's like Bill Dotrieve or something like that. He's
Yeah,
got
Bill
like a little-
Dotrieve.
Tanya
He's a
Willis.
barber for the army.
That's right.
That's what, yeah.
Never trust a bald barber.
Or
No.
scaring ladybird. I'll tell you what.
That
Damn,
John
boy.
Redcorn, he was over here.
Ding dang, big ding ding, over there.
Oh Lord, they need to bring Hank Hill back.
Oh, they do. It's funny how the things that make you laugh on that show. I was watching an episode from the first season, and on the closing credits, during the course of the episode, something had happened, and Hank's entire yard had gotten killed off, and so it's nothing but like red dirt. And so the closing credits, he's driving this riding mower, and he's going back and forth mowing the lawn. There's nothing there but dirt, and he's just humming as he's just mowing the dirt. And for whatever reason, I laughed so hard at that. And he's just whistling something and just puttering along, mowing the clay.
Oh,
We get
Lord.
that here in Florida. Some of my neighbors do that, so don't. Yeah, it's not just
Oh my
it's not
God.
just on the show.
So I when we were driving back from Miami, somewhere between Miami and Cocoa Beach, we were taking the was it
Love
91
Cocoa
or
Beach.
whatever it is, the big turnpike, and just past one of those little Service Islands, there was this fire ant mound just off to the right of the road. I swear to God, that thing was 5 feet tall if it was an inch.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Man.
I was like,
I hate fire
I was looking
ants.
at that going, was that termite? And then my wife, who grew up in the South, was like, no, it's a fire ant mound. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, they could launch an airstrike from there. You know?
No kidding.
Good night, Naoma.
Good night,
Oh,
Naoma.
Good night.
Naoma. But yeah, it had to be 5 feet tall. And
Yeah.
I was.
They get big out here, man.
Oh God, no way. Mm-mm.
When I lived down in New Mexico, my dad's standing policy was if we found a fire ant den on our property, we filled it with gasoline and lit it.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
That's how we do it here, man. All that stuff you buy in the store, sprinkle this and do this and do. No, sorry, don't work.
Gasoline works every time.
Yep.
I know. Growing up on the farms in southern Illinois, we used to use we had ground hornets, and I think they call them yellow jackets or whatever in some places. And we used to
We got
pour
like
diesel in
mud
those.
daubers. Mud daubers, I call them up
Yeah, we
here.
pour diesel in those damn things and light them.
When I was a kid,
Yeah.
we used to smack them out of the air with badminton rackets.
Wiffle ball bat does a good job too.
However,
this
that
show
does
brought
not
to you
work as
by
well on hornets.
this show brought to you by PETA.
I can't.
Tonight's show is sponsored by Red X for
Don't
Wildlife.
that mean people eating tasty animals? I don't know. Pass the gravy,
Yeah.
lady.
God damn it,
That's what
Bobby.
is.
Your damn vegetables are scaring Ladybird.
Call that conservation.
Oh my. What were we talking about tonight?
We were talking about
the vampire beast.
the vampire beast, but now we're talking about Family Guy and all that.
I apologize. We've gone off the
No,
rails.
it's good.
Time.
Doc, you're a deer hunter, aren't you?
Yeah.
How do you think chronic wasting disease would affect that vampire creature?
Oh, yeah, that's a good
I
question.
would think. I mean, it's in the meat, and it's a,
Chronic wasting
you can
disease
only
is a
wait.
big thing here in the Ozarks. It happens a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to get those deer
Yeah, down in-
tested if you shoot one.
Is that prion
Yeah,
disease?
down in-
It's kind of
down
like
in-
mad cow, or is that something else?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I would say that it's a plausible thing. I mean, it would if it affects us, it affects pretty much. It would affect anything that came in contact with it. And I've even heard tell that certain animals like predators, coyote and everything, if they come upon one, I don't know what it is about them, but they won't eat it. If they won't
can
even
smell it?
attack it if it's
Yeah.
suspected that it's got. I don't know. I mean, if you got dogs that can smell cancer,
Right.
Yeah.
or diabetes,
Well,
then why not?
Here's a thought for everybody on the group here tonight. I want to hear everybody's opinion on this, and if anybody in the chat wants to chime in on this, I would love to hear their opinion on it as well. Do you think chronic wasting disease might be partially responsible for the recent uptick in cryptid sightings? Because it's making food sources a little more rare.
Okay,
I know what chronic.
I'm
I know what chronic wasting disease is, but why don't you explain it for people in chat?
Doc, you can give the medical end of it better than I can.
All right.
See how I did that, Steve?
Chronic wasting disease. Yeah. Chronic wasting disease, also known as Creutzfeldt-Jacobs disease, is caused by a prion. It's a microscopic little critter that attacks the CNS, the central nervous system, and it is a very debilitating and honestly, it's a horrifying death because it's a lot like these other demyelinating diseases like ALS, things like that, Lou Gehrig's disease, where you actually become a prisoner in your own body, and it's something that's not detectable unless you take in the brain tissue and get it tested. And there are now blood tests for it as well. But I would say with chronic wasting disease, on top of that question, DA, add another question in there too. Are the areas where chronic wasting disease is very prevalent, are you seeing an uptick of cryptid sightings
in those areas as well.
For Missouri, I can say
that-
yes. There have been more.
That could be geographically
more-
related.
There have been a lot of chronic wasting disease cases out of the Mark Twain, and in the last 6 months to a year, I've heard more people talking about vocalizations and even like campsite encounters in the Mark Twain than I've heard in the last decade.
Even in Florida, with the disease down here, the past 2 years now, it's been bad.
So let me just try to understand your question then. Are you saying that misidentification and people are seeing these creatures affected with it, like deer and stuff?
No.
Or is the uptake because of this in the deer population and whatnot?
I think because the deer population is definitely, especially for the larger cryptids, they're a prey item. And when the game gets more scarce, do you think that might be what's bringing them in closer to us?
Gotcha.
John Doe says, I don't believe chronic wasting disease affects humans. Yeah, it can. It'll make you very, very, very sick.
Well, in humans, it's Creutzfeldt-Jacobs disease. But it's caused essentially by the same class of organisms as mad cow. And prions are so people know what bacteria are. They're considered alive. They're tiny little critters, to coin Doc's terminology. And so then we got viruses. Well, a virus is a piece of DNA or RNA surrounded by a protein. They're not technically alive because they use a cell to reproduce, but they're still, depending on what biologist you talk to, they're still considered critters. A prion or prion is the next step down. A prion is literally a piece of infectious, contagious protein. And they're just about impossible to kill. You have to completely incinerate them to kill them. They're the fare of terror for people who worry about viruses and things like that. Some of the Zombok writers will use them as the vector for their zombie disease.
Right.
Jonathan Mayberry's
Rotten
Ruin series is based on a prion. In this case, it's a man-made one. Several other writers have used prions because they're nastier even than viruses, because a virus, you hose down the area and 70% ethyl alcohol, or throw an antiviral in, you'll kill it. The prion, it gets into a piece of meat, you have to completely incinerate the meat.
Oh, nice.
Well done ain't going to do it.
Yeah,
right.
And
we have this.
And the big thing,
Go ahead, Doc.
The studies they did with these things, with the prions, the studies they did. That's okay, man. The studies they did with the prions, with chronic wasting disease, they fed the infected meat to macaques, as a monkey that is very similar to human beings, and some of them were infected with it. Not all of them, but there is a low risk, but the risk is potentially enough there to warrant, like you were talking about with the testing and everything. So there is a real risk of it happening. So
just here and there, 66 says
if it'll go to a
sightings,
macaque, couldn't it go to another cryptid?
Probably could. Just here and there, 66 says cryptid sightings have gone up in Kansas. If you're getting more sightings in Kansas, if you get any documentation on that, or you've got any of the accounts personally, if you would email those to me at daroberts@daroberts.net, I would love to check those out. Lene person says sounds like it could be a possibility.
I mean,
even with the pigs down here, the wild pigs, they carry I'm trying to think of the name of the disease. That's fatal to you. I think so. It's fatal to humans and dogs, because I used to hunt them with dogs all the time.
Yeah.
And if you get that blood in a cut, it'll take you down.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a big. We had a big outbreak. Yeah, we had a big outbreak of it all through Florida. And just like, you got pigs up here, deer up here, and there's been a lot more sightings in Florida alone. Not just, all over the place.
Tony Willis says, I'm sorry, Josh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it just seems logical that anytime a predator's food source is threatened, they're going to naturally look for a secondary source. And if known predators are not eating these creatures, why would Bigfoot or Dogmen also eat them? So
Right.
it just makes sense.
Just here and
Tony,
there, 66. I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
No, I was just going to read the comment. Oh, Doc froze up. Well, Tony Willis says that in conjunction with expansion of human population is quite possibly a factor in the uptick of sightings. I would definitely agree with that. Doc, go ahead.
And just there, here and there, 66 said there missing people cases on the rise with that. Well, so that's another possible correlation with that.
I would agree with that.
Same in Florida. Look at all the. We just talked about that on one of the shows with Mark and Jimmy. I mean, all the people that were coming up missing in Palm Beach now. It's like all of a sudden, even over here in the Ocala National Forest, man, they've had 3 accounts already that I know of in the past year. So,
last week, my wife and I, we went for a drive out in the woods. There's a lake not too far from Springfield called Fellows Lake, and I've gone out there fishing a lot of times. And years ago, I worked for a private security company. That lake belongs to City Utilities of Springfield. It's one of the reservoirs of water for the greater Springfield area. But years ago, I worked security out there, and I knew a spot tucked back in the woods where there had been a homeless camp, and it had been there for years. We drove out through that area, and it was gone. I mean, completely lock, stock, barrel, not even trash. It was gone, which is really weird because it's public land. I don't know that anybody could have kicked them off of it, but they bugged out of there and they left the area completely.
Yeah, we have that up here in Ocala. They call them the rainbow people, and they're more like bees type of deals. That there was a big encampment of it, and not anymore. There isn't. They were just
Well, I know in Springfield there's been a big initiative to try to de-blight the city. The city went through a while back and tried to clear out these homeless camps. And then they discovered that if they cleared them out and then they got rid of all the homeless shelters downtown, then there's nowhere for the homeless to go. Now all of a sudden they're under underpasses and things like that. So it's definitely...
Baki says, wasn't that basically the plot of The Man Who Killed Bigfoot and Hitler? Yeah, I watched that movie, and I watched it because I like Sam. What's his last name? Sam Elliott. I watched it because I like him. But sad to say, that movie is about an hour and 45 minutes of my life I will never get back. It was not a good movie.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a show here probably in the very near future where we just sit around and talk about Bigfoot and cryptid movies and give our reviews of them. We'll get everybody in on the panel because there's some good ones out there and there's some really bad ones.
Yeah, well, what was that? What was a disease that thing was carrying in that movie that was killing off the population?
I don't think they ever said exactly what the disease was, but it had some sort of pathogen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead, Josh.
I was just gonna say I have pulled a couple random cryptid movies up on Amazon and woof.
Yes, some of them were bad.
Yeah,
There's some pretty good ones. Of course, there are some. For every good one, there's 5.
I've seen a couple that look like. Apparently, anyone can make a movie because some of them look like were shot on home cameras and just uploaded to Amazon.
Well, it says look for an uptick in the 411 numbers. There has been an uptick in the 411.
Yeah, it has.
Even David Paulides was saying that on his channel, the Can-Am Missing Project.
Steve, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just going to be snippy. You know how you were? We talk about back in our younger day, they had straight to video. Well, straight to Amazon is for the people who can't afford the video.
Yeah,
there have been a couple. Yeah. There have been a couple.
Straight to Hulu.
I mentioned it to DA. I said it to DA. Said, why isn't any of your books in a movie yet?
I would love to see that
on Amazon or Netflix compared to some of this crap that's on there. It's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. It would be great.
I know, and I'm like, people actually watch this, But yet, his books would probably blow it away if they made a series about it or a movie. So, I mean, yeah. I mean, I understand.
It's getting the right people to look at the content and be like, can we do this? And
And
you
need
look
the
at some of the
backing.
direct, if you look some of these direct to videos, I'm sure we probably could. I mean, Sharknado was a movie. We'll never forget that.
Yeah.
Or forgive it.
And
Well,
Forget
look at the
and
Dog
the
Soldier.
movie with Eric Roberts, Sharktopus.
Oh God.
That was a dog.
What's the other one?
Man.
Sharks in Space with the guy from 90210, the blonde-haired kid.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
And people,
Yeah.
there's a following for that.
Yeah.
Okay, DA,
It's like-
I'm going to say this: if we're going to do the show review, the movie reviews, we've got to do it in living color style, Blaine and Antoine.
No.
You know, hated it. You
Two
know.
thumbs up.
I
Yeah.
don't want to get the hate mail.
Yeah. No, yeah. It's only.
Or the cease
true.
and
That's
desist
true.
order.
That's true. That's
Lene
true.
Perkins says, question, what type of cryptid do you think the Falk monster is? Bigfoot, Gugway, Genosqua? If you mean the one in Falk, Arkansas, the Boggy Creek monster, I think that is a very much like the Florida skunk ape. It lives in the swamps. It's more adapted to the swamps. It's only aggressive at certain times of the year, which you see that in Florida. Most of the time, they tend to avoid people. And the one down in Falk, Arkansas, pretty much stays to the deep swamps until certain times of the year. But it very well could be affected by the same thing, chronic wasting disease. They're getting cases of that reported all over the U.S.
I think John meant rabies here.
Yeah, I think so too. He says, "You guys think
Yeah.
Bigfoot could get rabies and start attacking people?"
Why not? Any
Humans
warm-blooded
can
mammal
get it.
can get it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, any warm-blooded mammal can get it, so that's entirely plausible.
Oh
remember
man,
when
could
I
you
was a-
imagine a dog man with rabies?
Oh hell.
Ooh.
When I was a kid, when we lived out on the farm out north of Lebanon, I remember my dad scooping me up and running me in the house when I was a little kid. I was probably 4. But I remember this pretty clear because everybody was pretty shook up about it. There was a dog wandered up and had rabies, and Dad went back out with a shotgun, and he blew its front leg off, and it still kept coming. And it took several shots from a 12 gauge before he dropped it.
Yeah, we have the big problem with that over here too, with the coyotes around us here.
Mm-hmm.
There've been crazy cases of it year after year. It's nuts.
Because Missouri, well, I realize you're in Florida, but Missouri, right, in the urgent care setting, they tell us that the things that we need to worry about around this area for the big rabies carriers are the raccoons and the bats.
Yeah, the raccoons here, yeah.
Yeah, the
too.
dog risk is pretty minimal. Possums just get a bad rap because they're ugly. But it's the bats and the coons. And
Well, let me ask you a question, Doc, or anybody, or Steve. You guys are in the medical field. Has anything been documented in a human with rabies that actually did go on a rampage?
I don't know.
not that I
don't
have
know.
heard of. The big thing you see with humans infected with rabies is hydrophobia. They start foaming at the mouth because they can't manage their secretions anymore, and they're reluctant to drink and everything else. They just kind of drool, and eventually the brain starts shutting down as various pieces of it get infected and whatnot. And I can't remember what the fatality curve on that is. It's like a couple of weeks, isn't it? From the
Yeah,
time
it's around 10 days. I mean, it can cause, I would say it could probably, just like any other mammal, it could cause some aggression, delirium, what they call
they
it.
tend to get sensitive to
I've not
light,
heard of
I
any
remember.
attacks. Yep.
Yeah, the only thing I seen close to it was that bath salt. That stuff. That's about it.
That
People
was,
just-
I've dealt with that a few times.
you
Mhm.
guys had some interesting stuff going on with that the dude that ate that homeless guy's face.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say that's about the time the Florida Man meme really took off.
Yep.
Mhm. Yeah, that was. And it's not just in Miami that it happened. It was happening pretty regularly here in Florida, for some reason. I don't know why. So
Ron Yelton says, do you think the government is using the wasting disease to force the cryptids to switch food sources to humans and depopulation agenda 21? I personally, I wouldn't think so, because I know Missouri Department of Conservation is doing everything they can to eradicate chronic wasting disease. Anytime populations of deer are located in an area where they've detected chronic wasting disease, Missouri DNR will go in and just level the deer in that area. They'll kill them all, stack them up, and burn them. So I don't think it's anything like that. I think well, especially at least in Missouri, the Missouri state government is doing everything they can to eradicate chronic wasting, but it just keeps popping up in different parts of the state.
I think our government has less to do with cryptids than people think. I would believe that they're aware of them, but beyond that, I don't think that they have much more to do it beyond being aware of them and keeping things quiet.
I would agree. I think the government has known about them for a very long time.
Yeah, I would agree too. I think I kind of lump cryptids in with UFOs. The government knows a little bit, but because they don't have it all figured out, it's better just to keep it quiet and not worry about the mass hysteria that could result from it.
Right.
You'll get pop-up cases like, LBL and some of these other things where there was probably some active suppression going on. But I mean, granted, LBL was what, 1970s?
82.
82. Okay, so close enough. 40 years ago. 40 years ago. With today's technology, imagine if that article hit the, Newsmax, whatever non-traditional media source you'd like to think of. I mean, the shit would hit the fan. It would be ridiculous. I mean, even that creepypasta thing that came out a few years ago, the rake. For a long time, until it was circulated around that was fake. There was people were legitimately freaking out about it.
Same thing with Slender Man. Once that came out as a creepypasta, people were seeing them everywhere.
Kids still believe, that's the crappy thing, is the kids believe a lot of that creepypasta stuff. But the interesting thing about suppression in the 80s versus suppression today, it's less suppression now and more like denouncing or what would be the word that I'm looking for?
Disinformation,
like, shaming the people or, putting it out that looks fake.
Social engineering.
Yeah, it's much easier, especially with the lack of trust with the internet, to just immediately say, well, that's obviously fake. Yeah. Whether it is or not, and people will latch on to both sides, and as long as there's conflict, there's never a true answer.
Well, and it's not just cryptids that are taking people out. Doc, weren't you telling me the story not too long ago about that old lady in Texas that the wild hogs got?
Yeah. She was a caregiver for an 80-something-year-old couple. She was in her 60s, and she pulled up right next to the front porch, and within 40, 50 feet, she got mowed down by a pack of feral hogs and was consumed.
Yeah, they will.
Right,
oh, yeah, they will.
Right there in the front yard. Yeah.
That is no
John
joke.
Abraham had a good question. He said, what was the LBL? I'm learning so much. The LBL incident, and if you're not familiar with what LBL is, LBL stands for Land Between the Lakes. It's a public use area, basically a state park, well, a national park because it borders two states. Public use area that borders Kentucky and Tennessee. It used to be known as the Land Between the Rivers until 1963, when the Tennessee Valley Authority put dams on the two rivers in that area, and they created two large lakes, Kentucky Lake and Lake. I cannot think of the name of the other lake.
I can't either.
Not off the top of my head. But anyway, it's now two lakes, and it basically created a giant island. Well, in 1982, a family of four went camping in that park and were allegedly killed by a dogman. The event itself was covered up, but two of the highway patrolmen who responded to the scene and found one of the dead bodies actually came forward. One of them had stage 4 cancer, and the other one was just getting pretty old, and they decided to break their silence and talked about it. You can't find official reports of it. But Jody Cook, the founder of the North American Dogman Project, actually knew both highway patrolmen and took their stories. So I have absolute faith that event happened, and the reason why is because the campground where it happened has been bulldozed off. LBL completely took that campground out. You can't get access to it. I spent better part of a week in LBL back in July and drove the back roads of the north end of LBL. I put hundreds and hundreds of miles on my vehicle looking for that campground. And it wasn't until I got home that a longtime resident of that area sent me a map of the park from the early 80s that had that campground on it. Now I know right where it's at. And next time I go, I'm going right to it. But the LBL incident was one of the best known cases of a dogman attack where actually people were killed and it was covered up.
Yeah, it's probably the gold standard for dogman attacks.
I actually grabbed a couple links. John, DA has actually done 2 shows and a spotlight on the LBL. Plus, I also grabbed the Cloaked Hedgehog video as well because you like to mention that one.
Cloaked Hedgehog is a great, probably the best telling of that story that I know.
So this is the Cloaked Hedgehog video here, and then I will post DA's 2 shows and his spotlight video.
Awesome. Yeah, John, we have done LBL, done stories on LBL, talked about it quite a bit, but I am going back there. Probably later this year, maybe in the fall when the bugs die down a bit. But I am going back to LBL and I'm going to shoot a lot more video. In fact, I'm going to go through some of the. Well, I have an SUV now, so I'm going to go through a little more some of the more rugged areas of the park that I couldn't get my minivan into, and I'm going to film a lot with the dash cam at night, going back into those back areas.
If you can give me a big enough heads up on when you're going to go. I'm going to see if I have enough vacation after my wedding to spare towards a trip like that.
Well, even if you came down on the weekend.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's literally, I could get there in just a few hours.
It's only a 6-hour drive for me.
I think it's about the same for me, too.
Cryptidville says, though I have lived 15 minutes from the LBL for over 20 years, I don't comment much on it because there's so much misinformation put out by podcasters about the area. I went through LBL. Like I said, I spent the better part of a week in there. The people that live in and around Grand Rivers will not talk about it. But when I got into Paducah, everybody and their dog had a dogman story to tell. And I don't know why people in Grand Rivers don't want to talk about it, but it's an interesting area. I took some really cool footage while I was there. At one point in one of the videos, I heard something pacing me, coming, like walking through the leaves, and I think you can actually hear hear it on the video of it, hear it walking, but you certainly see me reacting to it. And then when I shut the camera off, I went into the woods looking for it, and I didn't see anything. But it is a really, really cool area, but it's also creepy, especially at night. John Doe says there's a reason boar spears have special crosses designed to ensure the boar cannot literally drag themselves up the spear to gore the hunter.
I believe it.
Say that again. What was that?
John Doe said there's a reason boar spears have special crosses designed to ensure the boar cannot literally drag themselves up the spear to gore the hunter.
Yeah, there's a crossbar on them. Yeah,
it goes across. Yeah.
Mark Napier's right. He says that's why Grand Rivers doesn't talk about it. It hurts their tourism.
Yeah.
Marshall Sirota says possums can't get rabies due to their high body temperature. Huh.
Interesting.
Well, I just know that you typically don't, see rabies in them. They've always get the bad rap. Kill the possums, they're rabid. Kill the possums, they're rabid.
Right.
Like, no, they also eat most of the bugs in your yard, and
Another place I want to go film that has a high volume of dogman activity is in and around Taylor, Mississippi. There's been a lot of activity in that area over the years, and I really, really want to go down there and do some filming. But tomorrow's big expedition is going to take me down into Douglas County, and hopefully I can find some areas and maybe find somebody that actually has had a sighting. I'm going to ask around some of the locals and talk to them, see if there's any accounts of the vampire beast of the Ozarks actually still draining animals down in that area. But Douglas County was mentioned specifically in a couple of the accounts. So that seems to be a great place to start.
I got a question for you that may help the chat as well.
Sure.
How do you approach investigations like that? And I'm sure a lot of people in chat would like to do investigations. How do you, because, you know, on the surface, you think, how am I going to ask this person, have you seen a Bigfoot around here? You know, like, how do you do this in a way that where, one, you don't get laughed off the area as best as possible, but also try to get as much information as you can from someone who may not want to share?
How?
Some
I've done it
people-
before.
Yeah, some people don't really want to talk about it. Sometimes you just break the ice and say, "Hey, got a question for you," or introduce yourself and say, "This is what I'm doing." But I have kind of an advantage that
You're a writer.
most people have. I will walk up and hand them one of my business cards, say, "Hey, my name is D.A. Roberts. I'm an author. I write horror, specifically cryptid horror. And I was wondering if you had any stories from this area that might be about Bigfoot or anything like that." And you'd be amazed how many people go, "You going to put this in a book?" And I'll go, "Yeah." They're like, "Oh yeah, well, I've got a story for you." And I'll sit down and have a soda with somebody and get 5 stories.
Do you think,
Yeah.
though, by using the author approach, though, they might embellish the story or make stuff up because you're going to put it in a book?
Maybe, you know.
Well,
But
that's where your law enforcement experience comes in, though.
True.
Yeah,
you sniff out the bullshit.
Use the same basic interviewing techniques, but you know, you also, you know, you kind of listen for certain things like, "Yeah, I saw one. It kicked in the back door of my house, carried off my wife and 7 hogs, all under one arm." You're like,
Yeah. Yeah,
you're just gonna use your best judgment.
I ask if they've seen any crazy. You seen anything crazy out here? Anything weird? And
You know,
usually they'll
DA,
like, well, you know.
that's what me and Adam, or me, because Adam wouldn't get close to those people down at Joe Bald. We were being followed by a couple on a golf cart, and he kind of slunked away because, you know, you never know who you're going to meet down in an abandoned campground. I was straight up asked him, I said, because I don't live down there, they're never going to see me again, most likely. So I said, "Hey, see anything weird down here?" And they looked at me and go, "What do you mean by weird?" And as I got into the conversation got weird. They were very evasive, and not in a way where they didn't want to talk about it. It was just, well, no, not in a way where they, how do I word this? It's like they didn't want to talk about it, so they kept trying to, like, conversate around the question. It was really, remember I was telling you about that, DA? It was a really weird
conversation. Tell me what he was saying.
I can't remember, to be honest. I just remember it was super weird. I have a bad memory. We talk about this too. I forget things really easily.
It was on one of the shows. What show was it on?
It was. Oh God.
It was funny. You were saying you would like bring up Bigfoot, and he was like, "No, no. Yeah, I don't know nothing about Bitcoin." He kept saying,
"Yes,
Bitcoin."
That's
what
it
was.
Yeah.
And I said, "You know I'm talking about Bigfoot, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, I don't know nothing about no cryptocurrency." That's what it was. It was cryptocurrency. And I'm like, "You know I'm talking about Bigfoot, right?" He goes, "Yeah, no, I don't know nothing about no cryptocurrency." And it's like, you won't answer the question. And I started to get irritated.
Down by the old mine entrance or something like that?
Yeah, he goes, yeah, if you want money, you can go mining. We don't got mines around here. I'm like, I'm not talking about mining. He was intentionally being evasive. He had this like coy smile on his face, and yeah,
he
it
was avoiding the question.
Yeah, and
I think the people that live close to that area, possibly the people in that golf cart, are feeding them.
They keep the meth heads out.
I told you I was down there one time with my wife and a couple other people, and we saw Steve. Was it you and Rachel when we saw the whole dozen donuts sitting on one of those empty picnic tables?
Yeah, your bombed out picnic table looks like something left over from Hiroshima, and there's a fresh dozen Krispy Kremes or something.
Yeah, I'm like, nice. That's not. I'm like looking at it. I'm like, there's not even any taken out of that. It's like somebody brought a dozen donuts down there, set them on this picnic table in the butt crack of nowhere, and left.
Well, and I was making jokes about how they were setting a trap for a cop. You know, it's like somebody's gonna walk up and there's gonna be like a snare. Just
we got one, guys.
This one's got some meat on him. He'll be good.
Well, if I ever go, that's how it's going to happen.
That's kind of what we were talking about, though. That if they had some sort of symbiotic relationship with them, it would make sense. It keeps some of the rabble out of there. If you got some meth heads cooking down there in the woods, and all of a sudden you got a Bigfoot taking them out,
right?
Don't got to worry about it.
Well,
right.
And I mean, to kind of expand on that, there's several sources in literature, where they imply that Bigfoot and dogmen are enemies.
Mm-hmm.
Now, me personally, I don't own any property anywhere. I live in an apartment, but if I had 100 acres and I was having an issue where I had to have some encroachment of some kind of cryptid, I would go for the Bigfoot over the dogmen. And I don't care what I have to feed that Bigfoot to keep him around, but I want it.
Given the choice of the two, you pick the lesser of two evils.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't want to imply that maybe an upcoming video game might showcase that war, and that there may be a symbiotic relationship with a group of people in the game. I'm not implying anything.
And what would that game be, Josh?
I would not be implying that is the Watchtower 7 by All Tower Media, but I don't know who those guys are.
There you go.
Helen Harrington said, "I bet meth heads don't taste good." That just makes me think of that episode of The Simpsons, not Simpsons, Futurama, where Lurg from Homie on Percy I-6 ate that stoner. And he's like, "Whoa, that hippie's starting to kick in."
No, that one guy made the documentary about in California about the Golden Triangle, about those marijuana growers and up there that got killed by a Bigfoot. Mm-hmm. And that was back in the 80s. But I mean, it's going to happen. I mean, all those stories are around.
Yeah. If a Bigfoot were to eat a pothead, would that be kind of like eating edibles?
Probably. Yeah.
I mean, it saves the Bigfoot the trouble of having to smoke it.
Yeah, it just creeps up on you slowly. He comes in.
Slow burn hippie.
I kind of look like a gummy.
See, we have a 5-pound bag of those sugar-free gummies out there.
I was going to say we were slowly getting further away from the sugar gummy bear meme, and now we're back at it.
Gummy bears.
Now, does Bigfoot like sweets?
I would imagine. I mean,
give him a whole bag of edibles. Get him a
buds.
bag of edibles and leave him out there. Get him high. He ain't gonna know. He'll stumble right in front of you, pass out.
You find him slumped over a picnic table, like,
yeah.
Hey, he's
That's what I'm saying. Give him a whole bag.
Apparently, dogmen aren't into sweets because they did not eat my diabetic ass when I was down in Joe Bald. So,
I would imagine they would have a fascination with anything they couldn't readily get themselves, like a donut or candy, because it's obviously going to taste good. I mean, dogs and other animals love sweets.
Well, look at other primates.
And other primates. That was going to be my next example. Yeah. And plus, it's not something that they can get on a regular basis. So not only is it going to be sweet, it's going to be exotic to them as well.
Yeah, the St. Louis Zoo used to have a lowland gorilla that they would give beer to.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the St. Louis Zoo was at that time was mostly sponsored by Anheuser-Busch, and they would come in. They would
go.
Seriously, the keeper, the gorilla's name was Phil, and the keeper would come in with a can of Budweiser and hand it to Phil, and Phil would pop the top, and of course it'd be like one bolt done.
Why did they just put a keg in with the tap right in his friggin' den? Be done with it.
Hey, is there any way I can sign up to be a silverback in the St. Louis Zoo?
Yeah. I mean, well, look at Carrie and all the that lady Barb and what is it, Carrie? Even when he went down to South Florida, they were throwing it apples, and this thing would eat the apples. Him and Mark were throwing apples at this thing, and they talked about it on the show a couple of weeks ago. Even that lady, what is that one lady called? Barbara and Gabby, the dog. She's out in Colorado. She has a gifting area. She feeds this thing pies.
Oh.
Pies. 7 pies. I mean, Oreos. But she's got it. But if you guys watch the video, she's got it covered to where you literally have to unlatch and turn this Tupperware thing, and this thing is opened and then it's put back on and closed with nothing in it.
Wow.
It's like, it's like, okay,
Wow.
so she's feeding these things too out there. Well,
You said that's in Colorado?
I think it is. Her name is Barb. Barb and Gabby. She has
Doc,
a dog
isn't
with.
that your neighbor? You've been cleaning out the pies and not sharing?
Could be. Who knows? It could be. Turning that damn Bigfoot into a freaking type 2, man. Jesus. Might as well get an insulin syringe and show him how to use that one.
And when she doesn't feed them, I was watching the show. When she doesn't feed them, she lives in a cabin. These things jump on the roof.
Oh my God.
I mean, but she has her own show, like her own podcast thing. But it's crazy.
I would not feed an animal that could throw a tantrum and tear my
No.
house apart.
No, I'm sorry. It's like feeding a bear or anything wild. You feed a bear,
Yeah.
a bear's not going to ever go away. So, it's like feeding
And
feral
it's just going
cats.
to get bolder and bolder.
Right. You feed feral cats, they're never going to go away either. Well,
Yeah, I know. We
Depends
got
on what you
damn
feed 'em
barn
to.
cats, and my wife started feeding.
I don't have that problem. I got 3 pit bulls, so it doesn't. I mean, not saying they come. I'm just saying they don't come around the house. So not everybody get all messed up over that.
That and the gators in Florida take care of the
Yeah.
stray cats and stray joggers. And
You'd be surprised what goes on with the gators.
Is it called Squatching with Barb and Goldie?
That I think so. Is it the dog, Goldie or Gabby?
The Facebook title says Gabby, but it looks like they renamed it late. Like the URL says Gabby, but it looks like it was recently renamed to Barb and Goldie.
Oh, because the dog that she had was old. Maybe it passed away and she got another one. I don't know.
Barb and Gabby is a YouTube channel where we post videos. So it looks like it looks like she's got a new dog. But it was originally.
I wasn't being, joking around. Maybe because I knew the dog was old. So maybe the dog just,
Maybe.
Then his audio goes, or the video goes.
That was perfect timing. I'm out.
Well, speaking of being out, I've got to get up in 5 hours and catch a flight home. So, as
All right,
much as
Doc.
I'd love to stay and chat with y'all, I'm going to have to bid y'all a fond farewell. Y'all have a great night, everybody in chat. Great seeing y'all again, and I'll see y'all Wednesday night.
Doc, you have a
See
safe
that.
flight home.
You
Thank you,
have a good
brother.
one, Doc.
Thanks, man. Love you, man. Y'all
Later,
have a
brother.
good night.
Be safe,
All
man.
right. All right, you too.
Mark Napier says if you ever watch a show about people who raise chimpanzees from babies, then get torn apart by them, you'll learn Bigfoot ain't pet material.
Truth. There was a couple that was on, I don't know, Science Channel or something fairly recently, a few years ago. They had a chimpanzee that they had raised, and then when it got to be a teenager, they turned it loose in some kind of sanctuary, so it could be more free and wild or whatever. And they went to visit with it on what it would have been like its birthday or something. And they brought it a cake and all this other stuff, and they were having this nice little picnic with this chimpanzee. And then all of a sudden, it flipped its shit and ate their faces. It was like just this was a chimp that they've known for years and years and years. They basically raised it, and just all of a sudden, and they were interviewing the husband. I think ultimately it killed the wife, and then the husband, they were interviewing him, and of course you could tell they'd sewed his face back on. He had kind of that man without a face thing going on. He's talking and like the top half of his face ain't moving and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, it's pretty gruesome.
Yeah.
But it literally it ate like his foot, one of his butt cheeks, ripped off his face. I mean, it was legit. And this is a 120, 150 pound chimpanzee. Think about what an 800,000 pound squatch could do.
Well, if they're capable of ripping a tree out of the ground and shoving it back in, on the broken end, that kind of strength alone should be terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Orwell 5674 says, I don't think it's a good idea to get Bigfoot the munchies.
Well, and jokingly, yeah, but we hear these stories with gifting. you don't start because you can't keep it up. That's why you don't start it, because the minute you stop, they're not going to be happy.
Well, there's stories that you hear all the time that people that start feeding bears, and when they try to stop because the bear's getting too bold and getting too close to the house, it comes in the house. I mean, that's just any wild animal. I mean, I wouldn't want to feed a mountain lion because when you stop feeding, it drags off the neighbor kid. I mean,
Yeah.
Regardless whether Bigfoot turns out to be hominid or some type of offshoot, prior to Homo sapiens, they're still not us. And they have their own behavior. They have their own code of ethics. They have their own, and I'm sure they're good and bad ones, just like there are with people. And I wouldn't want to toss the dice and hoping the one I was feeding wasn't one of the ones that's like, yeah, the minute you stop feeding, I'm eating you and your family.
Did you see that on there, Josh? Did you see the thing on there or no?
What's that?
Did you see her feeding this thing on there or no?
No, I just found the channel. I'm going to review it later if I can get a chance to. I just was looking for it and make sure I knew where it was.
Yeah, it's crazy what she does too. It's just the stuff that she puts out there for this thing.
And that's what we were just saying. Like, it's not uncommon to hear of gifting going bad because the second you stop, they get a little irritated.
Pissy. Then get pissy, of course.
Where's my goddamn pie, lady?
Yeah,
Bear from Bigfoot Outlaws. He told a story about an elderly couple that down in Georgia that were feeding them, and one of the couple, I think it was the wife, got sick and was in the hospital, and the husband stayed with her for like a week, and when they got back home, it had basically destroyed their house.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I mean, you got to be real careful. Real careful.
There are people that do gifting and claim it works very well, and I just me personally, from my personal point of view, I'm not feeding any wild animal.
No.
It's just it's just dangerous.
Look at the people who gift deer. I know several people that have deer feeders in their yards because they're so pretty. I want to see them come in, and the next thing you know, they're bitching that they ate all their tomatoes.
Yeah.
You draw them in, they're going to eat what they want to eat.
All right.
Well, it was like when I was in the sheriff's department one night. We got a phone call from an irate lady, and I was answering phones, and I was on the switchboard, and fortunately, Dave Mann, my lieutenant, was there, and I'm like, you're not going to believe what this lady wants. He's like, what does she want? I'm like, she wants us to send a deputy out to move the deer crossing sign so the deer will quit crossing the road near her house.
She actually called into a radio station. And complained, and the radio host was like, I've listened to it, and it's like, do you not understand how those aren't for the deer?
You can't read.
Right.
I put her on hold, laughing hysterically.
That's funny, man. I'm sorry.
Are you out of your mind? Yeah, ma'am, I'll have dispatched to the deputy.
How about the one, the best one? How about the one when the guy hits the deer and throws it in the back seat of his car, and it comes back to life? Did you hear that one on the 911 call? Yeah. Holy shit, he's ripping my car apart.
I wanted to put one more point out there for people that, are gifting and stuff like this. Something just to think about. Say you live somewhere and you have a family of Bigfoot that you gift to, off on the edge of your property, right? And you do this for 35 years, 40 years. You sell or move or pass away. What's going to happen to the family that moves into that house that has no idea or doesn't care to do this or doesn't believe in it? You've just set up a very possible scary situation for the family that just moved into that house.
Yeah.
Perfect point. That one lady that lived, her family lived on the property in Kentucky, and I'm trying to think of her name. Her grandfather friended a clan of Bigfoot, and they wrote about it. I'm trying to think who wrote the book. DA, help me out here. I'm trying to think of the lady that wrote the book.
I know which one you're talking about, but I can't think of it.
Me either. Well, her grandfather actually friended these clans of Bigfoot. Named them all. They would come to visit him, And then as she got older, he introduced her to them. And he would feed them. He would go to their births. You know, I mean, this is like a story that he's telling, you know, and she's telling the story and she has proof on it. And I can't, oh man, what is her name? The lady wrote about it. She just passed. Green. What's her name? Something Green.
Oh, Mary Green.
Mary Green. She wrote about this family and she did research with them. And they swore up and down. They have there's a body buried where she went to a burial and these
Cryptid
things.
got you here.
So
Oh, yep. There you go. Well, you know, it's funny how you hit on a very good point about, you know, what if somebody else doesn't know about this? You know, case in point, you know, it's not cryptid related, but wild animal. My ex-father-in-law, my first father-in-law, has some property in very rural Arkansas. It's near the city of Dover, Arkansas. By city, I mean like town of 300 people. But he's got some property up on this hill. They call it a mountain, but up on this hill. It's a glorified trailer on about 80 acres. Well, I went down there to check on the property. They have a big problem with armadillos and stuff like that. And periodically they like to go down and make sure the armadillos haven't, you know, dug the supports out from under the trailer or whatever. And so I went out there with my brother-in-law and, you know, they're like, yeah, have you seen any snakes? Shoot them too, you know, whatever. And so we went down there a couple of pistols and, you know, basically we were going to, you know, have basically camp out there for the weekend, barbecue and, you know, shoot an obscene amount of ammunition just for giggles.
And you didn't invite me? Come on, man.
Well, I didn't know you then, bro. But anyway, we go down there. We pull up in the pickup truck that coincidentally happened to be my father-in-law's pickup truck. And as we're getting out of the truck, we're grabbing the cooler. We're, you know, kind of chopping our way through the weeds to get to the front door of this trailer. This ancient black bear starts padding up to the truck. And it's making a beeline right for us at you know, with no particular haste, just kind of walking up to us. And I grew up in a small town and lived in a city for most of my life. I'm not accustomed to just having casual encounters with black bears. And so I'm beginning to panic that this, you know, 100-pound bear, 120-pound bear is walking my direction. And about the time I'm getting ready to have an out-of-body experience about the whole thing, my brother-in-law calmly reaches into the cooler and pulls out a peanut butter and honey sandwich and tosses it to the bear. I'm like, what was that all about? He goes, well, he just wants a sandwich. I'm like, what do you mean he wants his sandwich? He's like, well, every time Dad comes down here, he brings him a sandwich. I'm like, well, I'm glad we had the fucking sandwich. You know? And you could have clued me in.
right.
And
Well, you're running down the dirt road.
Literally, you know, I'm contemplating on whether you know, I should use the 45 I've got in the holster to shoot the bear or shoot myself. You know, yeah. You know, what if I didn't have the sandwich? You know, what about the next dumb bastard who's trespassing who doesn't have the sandwich?
That's the same thing if you've chosen a gifting spot out in the woods, well away from your house. You know, if you're leaving food out there, these creatures get used to associating this particular tree stump with food, and some jackass hiker comes along, is like, hey, that looks like a great place to have a sit and drink some water, and now he's a missing 411 case.
Because now, in the minds of whatever's eating that sandwich, sees this dude eating a sandwich, be like, yo, that's my pastrami on rye. You're coming with me.
Right.
That's mine.
Right. That's mine.
Right. I mean, bunch of researchers make a good point. They say the same thing. Don't feed them. And if you do feed them and you stop feeding them, supposedly they follow you home. I don't know how true that is. I've never had it happen to me. Scott Carpenter is one of them that does, you know, says that they will follow you home to the house.
Well, I mean,
and he's not the only one. Right. He's not the only one that says it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and you know, this particular bear was, you know, looked like it was 104. You know, it's probably a pretty elderly bear, and it was very non-aggressive. You know, I probably could have reached over and pet it, you know, had I wanted to. And of course, my brother-in-law, being the asshole he was, threw the sandwich at my feet. You know, so it was going to walk up to me to get to it. I don't think it would have hurt me.
Did you make him walk back to town? Because I would have.
But you know, I don't think it would have hurt me. But in my mind, I'm rolling it over. I'm like, okay, this is a bear. I don't care if it is 60 years old or however old this damn bear was. It's still a bear.
Right.
There's
Still a living bear.
Yeah, it's a living bear that at that point weighed almost as much as I did. I was about $140 soaking wet back then, and I'm like, it's gonna be a bad day.
It's like I told my wife, man, the same thing. She is feeding this one squirrel. One squirrel. It comes up to her, goes in her hand, and eats, and then runs off. Well, one day she leaves her car door open. She has a bag. She eats peanuts, for protein because she has a cleaning business. So she closes the door. She gets in. She starts driving down the road. She notices this thing going ape shit in the car as she's driving. It's the squirrel. It jumped in the car to get the peanuts. So now she's on a major highway. The car's doing this back and forth. She's flipping out. Ah, the squirrel. She doesn't get mad at the squirrel at all. Pulls off, turns around, goes back to the house. Doesn't let it out right there. Goes back to the house and opens the door. Okay, go ahead, go back to your tree. I'm like, what is wrong with you? I said.
He would be displaced if she let him out anywhere else.
Yeah, you can't. She's an animal lover, man. You can't. When I tell her I'm go hunting, she goes, I don't want to hear about it. I want to hear about it.
My stepdad does that, and what happened was it went from one squirrel to an entire colony.
Thank you.
He came outside one day, and there was like 40 of them just sitting in trees.
What is it, like that commercial?
Waiting for their payoff.
It's like that commercial that they did when the guy's eating the peanut butter. Remember that? All of a sudden,
yeah,
all these squirrels, and he's looking around. He's in the park. He's like, where are they all coming from? That's the same thing that she does. And I tell her, you got to be careful. Those things do carry rabies. I said, you have to be careful. Oh, he won't bite me. Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I mean, even where I live, I've got an apartment. I live on a second floor apartment, and I'll put a bird feeder out most years, just because I like cardinals, and I found that I can draw a few mating pairs of cardinals in with my bird feeder. Well, I've also somehow managed to drag in all the starlings that live in Greene County. And I went on a trip, went to go visit my parents, and the feeder ran out. And I get home, and I'm sitting in the house. I'm having a beer in the living room, just sliding door open, screen closed, and I hear this tapping on the screen. And one of these starlings is pecking on the frame of the screen, and they're like pecking. They would just kind of look at me like they do. And I realized the feeder was empty. The damn thing is basically like, hello.
Hey,
Yeah.
You got to fill this thing or not?
Get the lead out.
It seems like you're out of food here. I'm like, that's where Hitchcock came up with the birds.
Yeah, animals they're not stupid, man. They know who's feeding them. They know who's doing it. They see a food source right there, and they're going to either follow you, and they're going to get pissed at you, plain and simple, if you're gifting a Bigfoot. So, if you don't, you stop feeding it, what's going to happen?
Yeah. It's going to get curious as to where that pastrami and rye's at.
Why is the deli closed today?
Yeah.
This is going on Yelp.
I'm leaving you a bad review.
Oh my.
What time is it?
Yeah.
We're rapidly approaching the bottom of the 2.5 hour mark. I think this is probably a good place to start wrapping things up. We kind of diverged from the topic a long time ago.
We always do.
But the episode of the Vampire Beast on Monster Quest is season 2, episode 2?
Yeah. No.
See, I gotta look this up because I wasn't familiar with it. I'm gonna
watch that again probably tonight. But check that out, and make sure if you have a few minutes, look and see how much is out there on the Minashunka, and it's not much. A lot of this information I'm finding, I found in an old book that I bought. I had a library sale, and it's not even in print anymore. It was like printed in 1963 or something like that. It's over on my shelf. But a lot of the information is hard to find. But it's an interesting topic, and it turns out that there are places across the U.S. that have very, very similar vampire beast myths. And they may not be necessarily myths. There are people finding farm animals even today that are exsanguinated, and that in and of itself is worrisome. Uh, Even if the stories of them, taking out people are false, what's to say they couldn't? There was the one story of the guy that supposedly woke up and had a wound in his heel, and that was here in Springfield, sleeping in a cave here somewhere here in town. And I'd like to look into that and find out what part of town that was in, because I would like to find that cave. Just interesting stories like that seem to abound across the country. And folklore, when you start delving into some of the folklore of even your own region, it's not necessarily here in the Ozarks, but it seems that even the stranger bits of folklore have roots in some sort of reality. Uh, every legend has its basis. Something caused that legend. So we can't be dismissive. We can't say, oh, that just couldn't possibly exist, because, you might be walking down a dark trail some night or down a back street and come face to face with something you didn't believe in. So what's the old expression? Things change when the rubber meets the road. The first time you round a corner and you run into something that, your mind says shouldn't exist, your paradigm is going to shift very rapidly.
Happened to me. That's how I got where I happened to me. I don't know. Didn't believe in the subject one bit.
Literal existential crisis.
Yeah. Cryptidville answered me when I asked him. He says, they want you to gift them and give them things kind of like unfamiliar Kool-Aid, getting a big glass without knowing the flavor. Even then, I be it bears, mountain lions, whatever, I'm not going to feed anything that's a wild animal. And even if they're closely related to humans, as some people claim, again, we don't know. Are they closer to primates? Or are they closer to us? Well, humans are primates, so at one point. But how close to human are they? Are they closer to the gorilla side? Or are they closer to human side? We don't know. There are people that have had interactions. There are people that have had interactions with different kinds. The problem is if these creatures are as intelligent as we think they are, there are good and bad in them just as much as they're good and bad in people. And you don't know if you're gifting a good one or a bad one until you're being beaten with your own bloody severed arm. So I think the cons outweigh the pros when it comes to gifting. I think you're setting yourself up for something potentially very, very bad to happen. Now, again, there are cases of people that have been gifting for years and had no issues, but wait until just the wrong one shows up, or the one you think is, your buddy from the clan that you've been feeding turns out to be a gugway wandering through your area. And then suddenly, meat's back on the menu, boys.
Right. But like how Mark and Carrie do it, they do it where they are to draw them out to get pictures. They don't have a gifting area. They'll just throw apples to where they are when they see them in the tree line.
Right.
And that's a totally different thing. I mean, because now when they go out there, for Mark to get pictures, a lot of times, he'll just start chucking apples in all different directions in that tree line to get them to come out. And that's how he gets all those good shots. He's not using a stump. They're like, here's an apple pie. Okay, guys, see you later, and leaves. Right.
I have to ask, because you can ask DA. I'm always the devil's advocate kind of guy. Does that now make them the gifting location? Now, are they being now associated with a gift if they're doing it enough to the same tribe?
No, because Mark, from what we understand, well, me and DA, when we had him on the show that time, Mark's been he's been interacting with them for about 7 to 8 years now out in that area. And it took him a long time to get where he is at with those shots. And
Josh, you should check out some of Mark's videos.
Right.
They are really good.
You'll have to send me a link.
The only time that thing got aggressive with Mark and Melanie, his wife, is when Mark actually ran after it and screaming. And I think from the story that he was telling, he got hit in the chest with the branch
I mean,
and got knocked out.
yeah,
It's on video. It's on video. Okay, so then he stopped doing being aggressive towards these things.
I would say so.
But that was when he was first starting to research, from what we understand when he was talking about it. But no, he's been with these things for like 7 to 8 years. He's been out there, and they're, I guess they're not associating it with food. He's just doing it to actually. And you can see them grab the apple in some videos and pictures, and take it, put it to their mouth, and then it'll be gone. He has not had a problem with these things, though.
It's more like a Jane Goodall type situation than where he's just trying to integrate himself, ingratiate himself, tribe or that group. That's kind of cool.
And that's what
I like that.
And that's what he's done. These things trust him to a certain extent that they'll let him walk in and leave.
Nice
in these areas. So he's got some pretty crazy pictures and videos, Josh. You got to check out. It's nuts.
You guys want to check out Mark's channel? It's called Crypto Reality. I just posted the link in there. He's got some really good videos. Yes, definitely should check that out. Hey, if you guys missed that show with Mark, you probably go back and catch that. That was last week. It was a really, really good night.
He'll be on again. He'll be on again to talk about all the other stuff. They're down in South Florida right now. Terry's on his way down there. I just spoke to him the other day via text. He's on his way down there right now to do some more research and stuff. Just him and Mark. That'd be cool. They're getting some more video and pictures. Me and DA were talking about it. So yeah, be back on. Definitely be back on. So
awesome! I look forward to that. He was a really good guest.
Oh yeah.
Well, folks, it is getting kind of late. I need to start wrapping things up. I got to get a few things done before bedtime, and I am going to try to get out to Booger County tomorrow and film down in the Ozarks Vampire Beast area neck of the woods. And with any luck, keep my fingers crossed, I might get an eyewitness or maybe get something weird on camera. You never know. I'm going to be trying out my new gimbal mount for my cell phone, so I'll be able to get more stable footage. So if I do see something, unless I'm heading for the car as fast as I can, the gimbal should keep everything pretty steady. Although I shan't be going unarmed, so we'll see how things go. Again, appreciate you guys being here. We had a great night. Doc, I know he's already heading for bed. Hope he's got a safe flight home. Steve, brother, glad you could finally join us. We've missed you.
Yeah.
Hope you like the new logo.
Oh, I do. I thought it was pretty cool. My wife got a big kick out. She's like, "Oh, it got you with your Wayfarers on." I'm like, "Yep, I like those Wayfarers."
That's a good look for you. It's going to look really good on a T-shirt too.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah, clearly somebody's rated my Facebook page, and that's awesome.
That's what I did.
No, I was pretty excited about it, and it's nice to meet Anthony. I've heard a lot about you, and
same here, man. Same here.
This Doug's my best friend in the world, but this fat bastard needs a co-host on Wednesday night. So, I'm glad that you're there, and the last 2 weeks I've been either traveling to or traveling from vacation. And so as much as I love you all, the Bahamas was calling a little faster and a little bit more family.
No, I don't blame you, man. One bit.
That was nice.
I rated Anthony's Facebook page too for that picture that's up there. But he's got like 3 photos of himself on his Facebook. There's like 3, and that was like one of the only ones with his shirt on. So I'm like,
I was laying at the beach. Oh, the other 2 were at the beach. I know that. That's when we were at the beach. You should have asked me. I would have gave it to you. The other ones.
No judgments.
Yeah, I don't go on Facebook
I like
that
the way
much.
It came out though. It looks really cool. I like that look. Yeah, we look like we're about to cover a bunch of Eagles songs.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah. Steve's going to belt out his best rendition of Hotel California.
Oh God.
Dodo's on GoPro getting ready to take the stage.
On a dark desert highway, cool whip in my hair.
That's crazy.
There you go. At that point, my hair was getting pretty thin. I probably had Cool Whip in my hair.
Yeah, I had hair at one time too.
It's funny. Mine went through a phase where it started to get real thin, and I thought it was going to start falling out. And then I don't know what changed. I don't know, my diet changed or something, but then it started filling back in again. So, I mean, what I got now is as much as I've ever had.
When I joined the Army, I could go 2 weeks without shaving, and you would never notice because it came in just like fuzz. But you literally have to shave every day.
Oh yeah.
And by the time I got out, man, my facial hair came in like freaking wire. But my wife will literally make me go shave if I go more than a couple of days without shaving. Because my cheek will take the grain off of sandpaper the grain off of wood.
You just stop shaving. Eventually, it gets smooth again.
She said, "Well, look, that's what I did. I just let mine grow out." And she's like, "Don't kiss me. You're gonna give me all red." And okay, whatever.
Yeah. I tried to do the no shave November, and my wife told me it would be divorce December if I kept it up. So I have to keep showing off the triple chin here because I'm not allowed to cover it with any hair.
I've tried shaving mine off a time or two, and my wife's like, "No, grow your beard back. I prefer it."
She said,
"The longest time in law enforcement, all I could have was the mustache." And I've got some pretty hilarious pictures with my 70s cop porn
coming all the way down, yeah.
Those old photos, you look like Cartman with a porn stash.
Respect my authority.
Yeah.
Take it back in your cell, goddammit.
I did want to let everyone know, though, I probably by Wednesday, I got to get with Adam. And like I said, Adam's taking a few days off. We're going to have a new intro. If not by Wednesday, next Saturday. I got to give Adam some time. The new intros will be up, and then look for those new listings in the merch store with the new logo within the next couple of days. Again, I need Adam for some of that, so we're just giving him some time to rest up, and as soon as he's back at it, I'll get that stuff put up.
John Doe says the Japanese sword post is up in Discord. If you guys have enjoyed the conversation that we have in the chat room and the talks we're having here, join the Discord. We talk about all kinds of crazy stuff, and I pop in and out just pretty much at random times.
I try to check it almost every day, too, if I can.
If you got questions or you want to ask me something or you want to discuss something from the book or ask something about a character, find me in there, shoot me a message or leave me a post. There's different chat threads where we can talk about individual books. We can talk about series. Pretty much any conversation you want to jump in, there's a thread in the Discord. And if there's not one, Josh will make one because he's really good about jumping right on that. The Discord is really the place where we can just carry on conversations like we're having here. Also, if you guys want to help shape the future of the DA-verse and help have input on the books, help discuss titles, help choose possible covers, and even other things that you can get involved in, up to and including being an alpha reader, which that's a pretty tight circle right at the moment. You can join the Patreon community over at patreon.com/DARobertsAuthor. There are multiple tiers that you can choose from, and they really do allow you to help influence the future of the DA verse because I value the input, and I certainly could use the sounding board to bounce ideas off of. So the opportunities are there. Also, if you want to become a member of the channel, that helps support the channel, help it to grow. Everything from the Patreon and from the channel goes right back into research for the books, getting equipment to go out and shoot videos. That's where my gimbal came from. It came from the Patreon. I bought the gimbal to be able to go out and shoot better videos, to shoot better quality videos. So we certainly appreciate everybody helping the channel grow and the support that we get. So thank you guys so much. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, hit that little bell icon so you get alerted anytime. And last week and the week before, people were talking about not getting alerted anytime that we were going live. Hit that bell icon, turn it off, and then turn it back on. If you're not getting alerts, that probably should fix it. YouTube's pretty famous for doing stuff like that.
Make sure it's set to all as well, and not just suggested or whatever the default is.
Right. And that'll let you know anytime we go live.
I got one last thing too. Just the Kickstarter for the video game is coming up very soon, I've already started scripting the opening sequence for the video game, and we're going to be recording voiceover lines very soon. Probably this week we're going to throw some down. And we're also toying with the idea, and again, this requires Adam as well, but we're working on some cool stuff for some upcoming books. A new way of marketing the new books before they come out and getting hype. So
I'll bust out my my professor voice and my voiceover voice. In a world where creatures rule the night.
but the Kickstarter our goal is May 1st, but with some of the health delays and life, it may get pushed into summer, June, July, but we want to have it up soon. I know we keep talking about it, but it's coming along.
I thought the DA was going to do the Museum of Natural History guy. There.
Oh, I definitely could do that. If they need the professor, I'll like. Oh yes, they're Bigfoot and Dogman in these environs.
There you go.
Be very, very careful, as they are upset quite easily. Tell your arms off.
You know what? We're going to have to work, like, in the visitor center of the video game. We're going to have like an educational video going, and you're going to have to narrate that. It's done.
If I'm going to do that, I'm going to have to find a pith helmet to wear when I do it.
Yeah.
Because that'll bring the whole picture together. Oh, yes, absolutely. There is Sasquatch in this area.
Yeah. Got to have a Mr. Yacht Club to, discussing things. Club. It's like... This is not near as good as the other museum that we were at just last week.
Yes, the Scotch here is quite terrible.
On that note,
Josh is like, okay.
Kind of telling us out of school story. This is a quick one, and then we'll start wrapping things up. You guys should have been with me and Steve the night we took our wives to the casino, and those two morons decided to set up by the bar and pound down drinks and make fun of people going by.
Yeah, we were literally imagine you for those who are the audience, the TV show Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just the stupid banter between the little silhouettes at the bottom of the screen. That was the two of us. Unfortunately, the movie could hear us
and react
and react to it. And some of the characters in this movie were rather large and frightening.
There was one guy was hitting on one of the waitresses, and he was wearing a striped shirt, and Steve starts hitting me in the shoulder and goes, "Oh, I found Waldo! I found Waldo!"
Yeah, and of course, I'm a couple drinks in, and this guy's standing 6 feet away from me while I'm doing this. And I think you made a comment to one guy. I wonder if he realizes that store he went to actually sells men's clothes too.
That's messed up.
And then there was the great big guy with no neck that apparently was like trafficking his girlfriend or whatever it was, the one that was like the Albanian mafia or whatever.
We called it the Albanian mafia. He had like the shirt button down to like one button above the navel, and
with all the gold hanging out of it.
He had a gold chain I could have rappelled off a building with. It was so thick.
Yeah, his gold chain around his neck looked like Batman's utility belt.
Yeah,
and the dude would turn. He would turn like Batman because he couldn't do the neck, and so
did he do the hand thing? Hey guys, how you doing? Did he do that?
He didn't talk to us. We were like, when he walked by, we were like,
we're probably talking a little too loud. He's a little too big. The important thing to remember in a bar is not who you could handle in a bar fight, but who your wingman can.
Exactly.
And I took one look at this guy. I'm like, yep, DA can't handle it. We better shut the hell up right now.
So we're going to have to do the sequel to that sometime soon. And I mentioned this on a previous show, and I will go ahead and mention it again. At some point, I don't know when, if there's a response for it, if people would like to do this, I'm thinking about trying to book a local campground to host a camp out where everybody could come and we could sit around and tell stories around the fire and just kind of just have a good time, spend a couple of days and do that.
I still think we need to pull the trigger on a small convention. But hey, that's just me.
I agree, but there's going to be a lot of work involved with that.
Yeah,
There's a lot of work, but I
logistics.
think we were on the cusp of getting it put together at one
We were
point.
close.
What? Having
Adam
other
Davis
people
ju-
come in, or just you, or having
No, we-
everybody come in?
We had an idea for a full convention. We even had a committee to put it together, and we were very close to pulling it off. I had a venue set up, really cheap venue, and the doors always open to us. She's made that very clear that she still wants us to show up.
We may still do it. We may still do it. Adam Davis just showed up, said, "Hey, DA and the gang. Sorry I'm late to the party. I'm sorry,
Catch
dude.
the
We are
VOD!
just got it just as we're wrapping things up." Again, folks, thank you guys so much. We enjoy so much having these conversations. We get to giggling and laughing and acting like idiots, and sometimes we even talk about the topic. So yes, embrace the topic. Yeah, Ellen here says meet in person. Yeah, definitely. I'm talking about possibly booking a campground and just having people come in and we can have a fire and tell stories and talk about the books and talk about cryptids and whatever else topic comes up. Maybe even I can invite some of the places that I featured in the books that some of the restaurants to come set up and maybe have some food. So we'll just have to see what happens. Well, at some point we'll look into it, but it's something I've wanted to do for a long time. Again, thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys so much. I hope you guys will join us on Wednesday. I don't have the show up yet, but we're going to have a really good guest. And where did I put my paperwork? It's around here. Oh, here it is. Oh, there it is. I knew it was here somewhere. On wrong month. On Wednesday night, we will have Chris Reinhardt. And Chris Reinhardt has been featured in an episode of These Woods Are Haunted. He's also a Bigfoot researcher. He's got a lot of good stories to tell. We're going to have Chris on Wednesday. And then on April 2nd, we're going to have Doug Hijacek. He's the producer of Monster Quest. He's also a Bigfoot researcher in his own right. He's got a lot of great videos out there. He's going to be an incredible guest, and we have more in the works.
Nice guy, though. He is a nice guy.
Very nice guy. I talked to him for like an hour on the phone yesterday. Super nice guy. He's going to be a great guest, and we're going to have a really good time. But again,
Also,
if you're familiar with Monster Quest,
Jesus is coming on from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, he was a regular on Breaking Bad.
He's an actor.
He's an actor. Who's also a big time Bigfooter. So we've got a lot of big guests coming up. Anthony's really been cracking the whip, man. He's made some humongous contacts. So once we get dates firmed up for everybody, we'll announce who all's coming on. But we're going to have some really good guests in the next few weeks and the next few months. Don't want to announce them yet until we've got them firmed up. But we've got some really good ones coming on. Yeah, Josh says, don't forget, if you like nerd stuff, join All Tower Media for State of the Nerd tomorrow night on All Tower Media's YouTube. Also, make sure you go by All Tower Media and keep like their page and follow it, because they will be doing announcements both there and probably on this channel as well for the coming Kickstarter and the video game. And the video game is going to be freaking awesome. I can't wait to do it. Anything else I'm missing, Josh?
No.
Already did the like and subscribe, plug the Patreon.
Do all of the things and click all of the buttons.
Click them all!
Hit thumbs up.
Yep. Thumbs up, ring the bell, come in, say hi in Discord.
That's it.
Ronnie Elton says you could ruffle a Bigfoot with the donuts. Yeah, we'll bring some Krispy Kreme and see if one shows up.
Tomorrow on State of the Nerd, we're going to be talking about Ryan Reynolds because that's kind of a topic all on its own. The title is Ryan Reynolds basically Deadpool? Because if you've seen The Adam Project or Free Guy, he's basically still just a family-friendly version of Deadpool.
Yeah.
Deadpool.
So
that was a good movie, The Adam Project. That was
Adam Project was a really good movie.
We're going to be talking about a lot of his recent stuff and some upcoming stuff, so it should be a fun show.
Also, on one of the upcoming shows, we are going to do basically just a round robin panel and discuss different cryptid movies, Bigfoot movies, Wendigo movies,
That'll be fun.
any kind of cryptid movie. We're going to talk about our favorites, and we're going to talk about the good ones and the bad ones and the ones.
I have a feeling that scale is not going to balance very well.
No.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a very balanced scale.
Nope.
Like I said, for every one good one, there's a bunch of. I don't know if I really needed to waste the time
Now,
on that one.
The one on the Beast of Bladenborough, which is basically a version of the vampire beast that we're talking about, is actually a documentary.
I need to watch that.
And I sent you the link, but it's on, if you go to the website, scarenetwork.tv and look at their exclusive titles, you can rent it or buy it for a couple of bucks. It doesn't appear to be anywhere but on their website. So, but they did it as a factual documentary and did interviews in the North Carolina area and stuff. So if people want to know more about this creature, that's something to check out.
Hang on just a second. Oh, I noticed that in the past we've had some issues with my email. People trying to contact me for giveaways and things like that, not being able to get their email through. And I figured out what it is. The program I use for my email is G Suite, and it's not like Gmail. It's a little different. It's case sensitive. That's the issue I've been having. If I would like posting it as capital D, capital A, capital R, D.A. Roberts. If you email me, email all lowercase, because for some reason G Suite kicks it right out if it's got caps in it.
Really?
Yep.
Gmail typically isn't that.
It's not Gmail though. G Suite is different.
You really need to switch over to 365.
I do, but we'll see.
That's a process for you.
Yeah. That's something we're gonna have to do.
You're dug in like a tick.
You're gonna have to walk me through it because I suck at tech.
Luddite does not describe it.
That's all right. Him and Matt are kind of in the same boat. I deal with it on a daily. I'm used to it.
Yeah, if it goes beyond hammer and chisel, I'm basically out.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I can't. I'm computer illiterate when it comes to this junk.
He just figured out how to control fire last week, so.
Ellen Harrington is dead right. This is truly a Midwestern goodbye.
It's where you.
As a kid, my mother would get up, put her coat on, then stand at the door and talk for another 45
you spend more time in the driveway than you do the house.
It's not even that. The Italians do that in New York too. We do the same thing.
Yeah.
We're leaving? Yeah, okay. All right, yeah. We're standing there.
And then someone mentions something that starts a whole new conversation. And
oh, did you hear about? And then blah blah blah.
Yeah.
She's absolutely right. This is a Midwestern goodnight. I've said it many times. I'll say it again. Writing and stories are journeys that we take together. And thank you guys so much for taking this journey with us. Even though it's crazy and wild and we get off on tangents and go off topic, and sometimes we don't even remember we had a topic. But
go buy the shirt.
Yeah, buy the shirt. We enjoy these conversations. We enjoy these shows, and we have a fun, hell of a lot of fun doing it. And we appreciate each and every one of you guys so much. And we hope you guys will continue to join us and continue to help this channel grow. And we will keep being the absolute goofballs that we are, and even occasionally talk about cryptids. But thank you guys so much, guys. Josh, Steve, Anthony, and Doc, if you're listening. Thank you guys for joining me and joining into the mayhem and the chaos.
Always.
I'm Chaos, Steve's Mayhem.
And then you come out looking like this at the end of the night, just.
But again, thank you guys, and definitely come back and see us again. And if you like cryptid stories, even though they're fiction stories, hope you'll check out my books at daroberts.net. So, good night, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Night, everyone.
Tomorrow I'll be shooting video down in Booger County and hopefully get something cool on video. I'll get it over to Josh as soon as I'm done with it so we can get it up on the channel. And it'll be there for everybody to check out. And we'll announce more about that later. And we will see you guys on Wednesday night. Thank you guys again. Have a wonderful night, and guys, be safe. Good night, everybody.
Night.
Good night.
Thank you for joining us tonight on DAX Machina. If you ever have an encounter of your own that you wish to discuss, contact us at daroberts@daroberts.net. You can remain completely anonymous if you wish. Pull your covers up tight and keep a nightlight burning bright. Oh, and did you forget to lock your doors?